is a beautiful but somewhat chilly night here in Little Rock, state capital. Looking wonderful, and it's a beautiful setting for a high school state football championship here in War Memorial. I'm Joey McGleams along with RJ Hoff and Dorian Kraft, excited about tonight's state championship game, the 8-man state championship game, 2022 edition between Rector and Izard County. Wonderful field, beautiful night, great setting, two teams evenly matched, and we'll talk about that. I know over the course of the evening, 8-2 and 8-2, each with a win against one another this season. RJ, it's a setup that you just couldn't ask for, couldn't write any better than that.
It's a great storybook. I mean, you think about this, both these teams really kind of struggled early in the season, and they've both seen each other now twice this year, this being the third time, and both teams getting a win this year. And when you look at the second time that Izard County got the win, it was a really lopsided win. It was 38-8 in that ball game, and really for Rector, they were kind of scratching their head going, what went wrong? And what happened throughout the football season for them to do that? But since that point, they've gone on a 5-game win streak. Izard County, when they got their loss earlier in the year from Rector, they're now on a 7-game win streak. Both teams, as you said, Joey, 8-2 on the year and in a state championship game. And if you're not familiar with 8-man football, it is something fun to watch. I like to refer to it kind of like arena football, where you've got a condensed field, it's 40 yards wide, and you're going to have a lot of offense. In fact, when you looked at the Izard County game last week against Woodlawn, final score, 62-56.
Exactly, and it came down to the very last play of the game. Izard County coming away with a fantastic touchdown to seal the deal. These are two teams, by the way, that go at it in different directions. One team passes the ball, the other one does more running. Yeah,
and you're exactly right. This Izard County team, I was talking to some other media members that have covered a lot of 8-man throughout the year, and they said they could line up against some 2 and 3A schools and be competitive offensively because of how dynamic they are offensively. On the opposite side with Rector, they're going to hit you in the mouth, and they're going to run and run and run, and then mix it in some passing with it as well. But you got to stay with what you're good at, and what you're good at on the Rector side is running the football and opening up the gap. It's kind of weird to say because you don't have the offensive lineman that you would in 11-man football, so opening up those holes is a little bit different.
And we'll talk about some players that may be key to tonight's state championship here in just a moment. We'll be back. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
And because it's an important part of our fabric in our community. And the one good thing about what I've seen is it's high quality production. You know, you think of the small communities all over Arkansas, it's a big deal that they can turn on the TV or DVR or whatever and know they're going to get a quality product. And so I think it just expands the focus of what PBS is doing. You know, Arkansas PBS is doing a great job, and I think it's part of education.
During the past year, we've been traversing the natural state with our cinematic drone, from lakes and rivers, waterfalls, scenic byways, mountains, swamps, overlooks, and towering rock formations. This unique documentation of all 4 seasons from all 4 corners of the state with an aerial cinematic perspective will give you, the viewer, an Arkansas adventure like never before, exploring Arkansas from above.
Download the PBS video app or watch online.
Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge? You can do anything.
History is today.
Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just going to love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS video app.
Stadium here in Little Rock, the 2022 8-man state championship, as We are looking at Rector and Izard County right now and talking about players for the game tonight, as some of the key players to watch for Rector could be looking at Jacob Cox and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, he's a dynamic running back, over 1,000 yards rushing this year with 9 touchdowns, and he's been a do-it-all factor. We talked about that running game in the open and what he has done, and has just done a great job of, once he gets into space, making a man miss and going for the end zone. On the other side, you've got the quarterback, Wyatt Buchanan for Izard County. This is a kid that's thrown for over 1,600 yards, averages about 160 yards per game, 24 touchdowns. But get this, Joey, only 2 interceptions this year.
That is an incredible ratio, and he's just a sophomore. Dorian Kraft is on the sideline tonight. Tell us about what we might see.
Thanks, Joey. With both teams in a similar situation in their first state championship appearance in school history, it's not surprising that the messaging was similar. For Rector, head coach Dave Hendricks told his guys, hey, no one outside of this locker room believes that we can win, but it doesn't matter what they think. All that matters is that we believe in ourselves. For Izard County head coach Jared Johnson said this is a team that goes out and plays and has as much fun as possible. His message to the team this week was to stay focused. They can be excited about what could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but he told them to channel it. He told me earlier this week, hey, we're just going to go out and have as much fun as possible and let the chips fall where they may.
Thank you, Dorian. As players are trying to stay warm right now, it's a little bit chillier here this evening. These two teams coming at it again, 8-2 records on the season. You talked about the win streaks just a moment ago. It is interesting that each team's win streak started after they lost to the opponent.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird how it will propel a team after a loss like that. And, you know, they're both from the same division, that North Division, and you get that loss and you say, you know what? We could see this team down the road. Well, you didn't think that you'd see them not once but twice, and now a third time. And so, you know, they always say a third time's a charm for a team. And so we'll see tonight. And let's go ahead and take a look at those keys to the game real quick, because on both of these for both these teams, they're very similar but very different in that. And if you're a Rector, you've got to play your game. You've got to be able to not try to get into the hands of Izard County. They're going to be up-tempo. They're going to go down the field and just throw. You can't get into that. You got to stay with what you do on the football field and really just not worry about the moment. If you're Rector, you've got to say, hey, look, it's just got to be another game for us. I know we're at War Memorial Stadium, probably the biggest place that they've ever played a football game, but you can't be in the moment. On the other side for Izard County, this is a team that they've just got to play their game. They've got to be able to throw the football and really, as we talked about, use Wyatt Buchanan, use Malachi Cruz, use Noah Stevenson. Those three guys, they're their playmakers. If they get them in space and really find ways creatively to get around this defense, it could be a fun night for Izard County.
One of the things about this game in particular that we can look at is that both of these coaches also know what they're going to get from the other side. They've spoken to each other already this week. They've talked about what's going to happen and what could possibly happen. Obviously, not giving away state secrets from either side when they visit, but they know what to expect one from the other. How big is that coming into a game like this tonight? Because really it does come down to how does the ball bounce here? How does each team execute what they do?
Well, I think that more than just knowing the playbook, essentially, you got to really worry about nerves. You know, I talked about a moment ago about don't let the moment be too big for you. And, you know, for some of these guys, they've never been to War Memorial Stadium, right? They're up in the northeast part of the state, and they may have never even stepped foot in this stadium that holds 55,000 people. And so I think you've got to really channel those nerves, make sure that when you walk out of the locker room that you're focused, and the X's and O's of it, Joey, you know, it's just I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just maintaining those internal nerves of the players.
Right now it's 44 degrees outside here in Little Rock. Overcast skies, not a lot of wind really to speak of, 4 miles per hour coming out of the northwest, and a very, very small chance of rain. In other words, it's an absolutely wonderful night for a state championship.
You know, I was watching Dorian just a moment ago down on the field, and she's got the toboggan on and all bundled up. It's supposed to get colder tonight. I think I looked at it's going to get down in the 30s tonight, so hopefully we get this thing over with so Dorian doesn't have to go put another layer on before the game ends.
Izard County will receive to get this started tonight, and the 2022 state championship is underway. A little squib kick there, and it is recovered at the 45-yard line. 44-yard line is where Izard County will start play tonight. Both these teams are the Cougars. It's easy to refer to teams as by their mascot, but we'll have to be a little bit more formal tonight. Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and you know that I'm really looking forward to seeing how both these teams come out. This is my 14th year of calling high school state championships in Arkansas, and that opening drive for both teams kind of sets the tone for each one. Well, here it is, first possession of the night. Izard County has it at its own 45-yard line. Quick pass across the middle, and it is incomplete. We've talked about Wyatt Buchanan as his first pass attempt of the night. That one not successful. Yeah, Buchanan, as we talked about, a 66% completion passer, thrown over 1,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and you're going to see a lot of that. A lot of slant patterns, a lot of dink and dunk passing. They don't really stretch the field a whole lot. They really just like to get you in space and let their receivers do some work. Tyler Hill lining up wide to the right, and the pitch will go to Cruz, and Cruz can catch the ball, but he can also run with the ball. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage, may have picked up a fraction of a yard. That is it, and it will bring up third down now for Izard County. Yeah, and really have not moved the ball at all here at War Memorial Stadium, and really it's not for the lack of trying. You come out of the gates with a pass play, and it was just dropped. Nice job at the line by the Rector defense. 4 players coming in. They're not surprised by Cruz's ability to run the ball either. 3rd and 10 now for Izard County. 2 receivers to the right. And Buchanan goes deep. 2 defenders down there. It's knocked down. Incomplete. It will bring up 4th and 10 now for Izard County on the Cougars' first possession. Evan Holmes, the defensive back for Rector, was there to knock that one down. And really, I just said that they don't go deep very often in their passing plays, and you see why right there. That ball was just kind of fluttering up there, and you threw into double coverage. So now you've got a 4th down situation, and I talked about this for Rector, that they've got to play their game, and we'll see how it goes. Buchanan can also punt the ball. 4th and 10. He's going to step back and throw it. Looking across the middle to the right side, in and out of the hands of Malachi Cruz, and it will be turned over on downs. Taking a chance as, again, Buchanan can punt, lines up a little bit deep, but the pass is incomplete, and Cruz had a chance. Yeah, no, it just went in and out of his hands right there. Well, here's the replay of that. So not a real great, a really great thrown ball, but that should be caught right there by Cruz, and it just went in and out of his hands. And you never know, with it being cold, the nerves, just things aren't playing like what they anticipated. Now Rector's going to have great field position. Drew Henderson, the quarterback now for the Rector Cougars, takes the snap, and he will keep it. Up the middle, has a gap, and tripped up by Cruz, falls forward for about 5.5 yards. We'll give him 6, 2nd and 4 coming up. Cruz, we've talked about his offensive play, plays defense as well, and you'll see this from both of these teams, many players getting to play on both sides of the ball. 2nd and a long 4 coming up now for Rector. And the give to the outside. Around is Cox. Cox, one of the players that we talked about, could be key to this game, and he picks up the first down of the evening here, out to the 30-yard line, a gain of about 10. Yeah, that was a great job. And you're seeing this Rector offense do a great job of just staying within themselves. And, they're moving the football right now and putting the pressure on Izard County. 1st and 10 now for Rector. And Henderson keeps it again, goes left side, picks up a little bit of a block there, and takes a pile with him for about 7 yards. Yeah, that time for Izard County coming up was Garrett Roberts coming up to make the tackle, and another long chunk play for Rector, and that, it's 2nd down and short, and that's easily managed, because if you come up with a 1-yard gain, you still are in a manageable situation for 3rd down. Both of these teams have the ability to score, and to score well. First possession now And the give is over to Cox. Cox is going to pick up the first down and just a little bit more there, down to about the 17-yard line for Jacob Cox.
Well, Cox is a do-it-all guy. Ran for over 1,000 yards this year and has 9 touchdowns to his credit. But you can see right there just that quick inside handoff, and it's going to take him for the first down.
It's been Henderson, then Cox, alternating plays. First down picked up again. In the red zone now, and it's going to be Henderson again. Goes left, spins around, and spun down. Flag comes in on the play. Dakota Townsley in on the tackle.
I think they may have got a little bit of face mask on that.
Flag came in late. Short gain for Henderson.
Got a personal foul. Defense at the distance. First down.
You know, so, and we talk about nerves for players. Sometimes for these officials, it's the first time they've ever gotten on a microphone.
Well, that's true. And first, obviously, first penalty of the night, too, that you have to call. You have to make sure that mic is working properly. So it will go half the distance to the goal. The ball is spotted at the 8, and it's an automatic first down, first and goal now for Rector. Henderson has Cox in the backfield with him. He's going to keep it himself once again, past the 5 and down to about the 4, so half the distance needed to the goal line made up on first down.
Well, the push that this offensive line for Rector's getting right now is really allowing for them to run the football. I mean, these guys are getting knocked off for Izard County. They're getting knocked off the ball 2 and 3 yards.
Great job at the line, as you mentioned, and you know it's been good work also because they've been able to alternate plays. Rector's kept it on the ground the whole time. Skylar Cavanis lined up wide. Keeper again, left side, diving into the end zone for the score. Drew Henderson, and Rector is on the board first in this state championship game.
You know, we talked about both these teams meeting once before. In that first meeting, they beat Izard County by a final score of 34-28, and they did a lot of the same stuff. Counter trays left, counter trays right, and we're able to find ways to get in the end zone. And right now, the momentum is with Rector. The push they're getting on the offensive line and the confidence that they are going with their running game right now has led to that score.
One of the things you might find about 8-men, often they will go for 2 as just a regularity. Pitch back, and Henderson tries to go forward. Cox says, no, this play's not going to work. We'll settle for 6, and that's what they'll do. 8:57 remaining in the first quarter. Rector scores first, up 6-0. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
2-1 out.
Do you think that's the key thing missing in the conversation about climate change?
Learn a lot about the African-American experience.
It's your palate, it's your taste, it's how you like to cook.
Look at all the colors.
Discovering stories of people.
Voices will be heard today.
People really see the message.
Such a shared experience.
The choice is yours.
You make the decision.
With Passport on the PBS Video app.
New documents are being digitized every day. And every day, the DNA databases get bigger. Sometimes the most moving revelations come from the paper trail. Sometimes some of the most shocking revelations come from DNA.
I think I found out a little bit too much.
That's what makes us special. The magical way that we combine genealogical research with genetic research. And we're the first program in the world to do that. Without your support, there would be no Finding Your Roots. And without your support, there would be no PBS.
Experience the action all over again next week. Watch all the championship games and Arkansas PBS Sports features at youtube.com/Arkansas PBS.
Drew Henderson gets the Cougars, the Rector Cougars, on the board first. A 4-yard touchdown run. That drive went 45 yards. Didn't have to go past midfield. Took over on downs and able to take it on in for the score. 8:57 left here in the first. And again, just a little pooch kick fielded at the 47-yard line. And so Izard County, the offense that we've talked about in the pregame, and it has shown itself to be formidable over the course of the year, 4 and out.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I talked about earlier on that first drive for them, the first drive is always tantamount as far as how's it going to set the tone for the ball game. You've got that out of your way. Now you just reset and play your football game and get back to what you're good at, and that's throwing the football around.
Wyatt Buchanan set to take the snap, does. Little screen pass over to the right side, caught by Stevenson, and Stevenson will pick up about 6 on the reception.
Yeah, that's a great job. Nothing flashy. You just get it off in the flats and let Stevenson do his work. That's what really this offense, the receivers in the running game, when they catch the ball in space, that's where they've been so deadly throughout the season, is just making guys miss and using their speed to get downfield.
Izard County has a handful of playmakers that Rector has to watch. Henderson, one of those. Stevenson, one of those. And Buchanan going to keep it himself. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and probably be fortunate to be there.
Yeah, and that's a great job by Rector. And Samuel Shipley, the defensive end, came in and just didn't give ground. He stayed right there at the line of scrimmage. They tried to get him for a loss, but they did get him back to he may have got about a half-yard gain on it. But either way, it's third down.
Cruz and Hill to bring in the play now. The passing offense yet to get started here. That screen pass, one of the first ones to be successful so far tonight for Buchanan. 3rd and 4 now here. Nearing the midpoint in the first quarter, Rector on top. Buchanan, the inside give, and slung down for a loss of about a yard. Noah Stevenson, he's one of the leading rushers on this team, and they had his number then.
Yeah, Dalton Lamar, the sophomore, was able to shoot the gap and get in the backfield to be able to take Stevenson down. And look right here, I mean, nobody touched him, and he was able to get back there and take Stevenson to the ground. He's a big old boy. You look at 6'2", he has a sophomore. He's every bit of 215 pounds.
And that is a very telling stat right now, as Rector 37 rushing yards, Izard County -2. 4th down. Buchanan rolls over, looks for Cruz, catches at the 33, and Cruz is going to stay on his feet to get past the 30. And what a huge play on 4th down. Izard County keeps the drive alive.
And right there for Izard County, Cruz was just able to find a hole in this defense and come up and make the catch. Evan Holmes was right there on coverage and was able to take him down. But look at him. He comes back to the ball and was able to make a play, and that's the biggest play of the night so far for Izard County.
You know, that the 4th down play on the first possession for Izard County, as there is a flag on the play. 4th down play, had to come back for the ball then. This one was a little bit closer in. He could make the adjustment and get back to it a little more quickly.
I have a personal foul, face mask, defense. Penalty will be declined. 1st down.
So there's that. You have a face mask at the end of it. Now they're going to have a 1st and 10 for Izard County, and you know, this is what they needed after going 4 and out on their first drive. Now having a little bit of momentum, they took a shot early. You know, Rector got on the board first. Now Izard County's trying to answer.
Buchanan again, the inside give to Stevenson. Stevenson not as much room as before, but he's still able to pick up a yard. And I'll tell you what, RJ, that line for Rector is doing a fantastic job, and any gaps that seem to be visible for a moment are closing quickly.
Yeah, Dalton Sanders, defensive lineman, he's a senior that leads that defensive front. And, you know, I was talking about, you know, Dalton Lamar and how big he is. That entire defensive line, they are some big kids.
Play got started a little bit early, at least from Malachi Cruz's perspective. And that was just miscommunication for Izard County.
Got a dead ball. False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Play
and
second
get
down.
the look there, RJ, from Cruz's perspective, and he took off. He was ready to go. It's kind of one of those plays that do you go on one or two?
Yeah.
And Cruz went on one, and everyone else was ready to go on two.
I think he left the huddle a little bit earlier going, I got this, and oops.
So 2nd and 15 or 14 now on the way. Cruz on the right side. Buchanan has nowhere to go. He's wrapped up in the backfield for the sack.
They're going the wrong way. Samuel Shipley came in to finish him off. And, Buchanan drops back. He kept dropping back and then tried to come back forward for a couple yards. But right now they have got a 3rd down and extremely long. They're going to call it 3rd down and 20.
Dalton Lamar in on that as well for Rector. Huge night for Lamar in the early going. Well, this is a great way to break into the state championship game as a sophomore.
Yeah, it really is. And, Izard County's got 13 seniors on their team. You got a fairly young Rector team.
Buchanan steps back looking for Cruz again. Cruz leaping up and can't bring this one down. In double coverage again. And Cruz has had some big catches this year, including one last week in the semifinal game. That one proving to be the game winner. He's struggled a little bit in the early going tonight.
Yeah, that one last week, I believe it was around 30 yards, and he was able to take it in for the scores. They walked it off against Woodlawn, but tonight having a little trouble with the deep pass, and rightfully so. You got to give it up to the Rector defense. They're playing double coverage on Cruz when he goes downfield.
Well, and it's one of those things too. Coach Dave Hendricks, Rector's coach, had said, and Dorian mentioned this too. So we know what we're going to see from Izard County tonight. Add another man. That's what it takes. 4th and long now for Izard County, and Buchanan a quick pass, and not quite the route that he was expecting there to be run, and it's turned over on down once again.
I don't think if you're an Izard County fan, you were expecting this kind of performance to start the ball game, because Rector's come out with their hair on fire, and Izard County's been a little bit flat so far. By the way, we're so used to doing 11-on-11 football, right? And you look down and you see the condensed field. I looked down just a moment ago and I saw Dorian down at the 25-yard line. She was actually on the field. I'm like, Dorian, what are you doing? And I imagine we're all having to get used to seeing where to stand and things of that nature.
The give going around right side for Rector. Jacob Cox takes the ball about 8 yards up the field, and 2nd and short now coming up for Rector. Well, and in watching the state championship games as well here, this is just the 2nd state championship game for 8-man sanctioned ball here in the state of Arkansas. Once again, it is Henderson, and he's going to keep it. Little stutter step, goes back to the middle of the field. He's close to the 1st down. We'll see where they spot it.
Yeah, that's going to be real. It depends on, does he go with his left foot or his right foot for the spot? And I think they're going to say he's short, but they may have to bring the chains on for this one. Yeah, they're gonna call time, and nice run that time by Henderson though. Just he finds the hole, and he's a quick player, and I think this is going to be really, really close.
They don't have to move the chains bring them out on the field very far. Cox, the leader on this team so far this year. You mentioned 1,005 yards. He's already crossed the 1,000 mark. 9 touchdowns. Henderson has 778 yards rushing coming into tonight's contest with 14 touchdowns to lead the team in rushing touchdowns.
You want to talk about the lack of passing this team does? Drew Henderson has only thrown for 198 yards passing this year.
Henderson has been big on the season. He's also been a big part of tonight's contest. Dorian?
Head coach Dave Hendricks says that the difference right now for Rector is the play of Drew Henderson, who came on as the starting quarterback full-time after Ashton Scott was injured on November 21st. Hendricks said it's not a specific skill, it's just the fact that Henderson is a gamer. He's someone that this team rallies behind, and Hendricks not surprised that it was Henderson leading Rector to the first touchdown.
Henderson behind 2 blockers is going to pick up the 1st down and more. Pushes off 1 potential tackler and gets forward down close to the 41-yard line.
Nice, just picking your spots. That's what he's doing right there, where, he was going to go one way, cut it back, and was able to get the 1st down and much more. And, This running attack for Rector has been very, very effective so far in this game. Total yardage right now, Rector with 46 total yards and Izard County with only 19.
1st and 10 now. Ball spotted between the 41 and 42. Here in the first quarter, Rector with the touchdown lead. Little double handoff there. The reverse going past the 30 to the 20 into the red zone. The Rector Cougars pick up the first down. Jackson Hill, the senior, in on that carry and moves his team inside the red zone.
Man, watch this replay. This was a great run. I was going to see if we can get it back on the offensive line, because that offensive line needs to have, and they need to be taken out for treats tonight, because Gabriel Mosley, he was able to cut in that block and really just seal off the edge to allow the double reverse, and it just fooled the entire defense.
Cavanis lining up wide now for Rector. But it's been the ground game all night long for Rector, and it is once again. Give going to the right side is Cox, and Cox will push it forward for about 2.
Well, not every play can be a 20-yard dinger, right? I mean, they that's what they were doing there for a little bit, and it gets you a couple yards this go around.
The Cougars have been able to move the ball on the ground all night long. I mean, it has been rush after rush, keeping the ball low to the ground, and really, other than that little reverse right there, I mean, it's been pretty straightforward. Going behind, strong push from the line, going to the right, going to the left. A couple of times that Henderson's been able to find just a little bit of a spot in the middle, but back and forth. No passes yet tonight.
Yeah, and you're not going to see a whole lot of passes from this Rector team. I mean, he's only thrown for 198 on the year, and he tried one on that 2-point conversion earlier.
Henderson forward for a couple more. Take it down to the 13. It'll be 3rd and a long 5. And that rushing yardage total continues to grow. Jackson Hill on the 1 carry with 23 yards tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Hill he's one of their main running backs, 775 yards on the season. But, I mean, as a team, they're nearing the 100-yard mark here in the first quarter.
Henderson and the give to Cox. Cox going one way, the other. Lets his line move things around past the 5 and in for the score. And what a fantastic run by Cox. And he used his lineman to find the opening, flag in on the play.
They're going to get Rector for a crackback block. And it was set up perfectly. I mean, he was trying to seal off the edge, but the new rule is you got to, you can't blindside somebody, and I believe that's what they're talking about, to see if he actually did it. But boy, I thought it was a great block. I don't know if we got the replay of that, but watch right here. Comes in and following the ball, you couldn't. Yeah, here it comes. Boom. Yeah, there it is. I mean, he was able to get a good one in right there to seal the touchdown. That's what these officials are talking about right now, to make sure it was an illegal hit.
And what may be lost in that then is the fantastic running then by Cox to work his way into the end zone. The hesitation at the line and looking things over and getting behind his lineman. It's a great job.
Let's get the call. This will be interesting what they say.
Going to be a dead ball, blindside block, offense, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. Joey, when you and I played, that's what you went to film study that next week, and everybody cheered you on for getting that block. Nowadays, you can't do that anymore. I
was going to say, that was celebrated. It's probably, it's probably still celebrated in film study.
You're probably right.
So,
yeah, I don't think the coach gets too upset about that one these days.
So 3rd and 5 turns into 3rd and 12 now for the Rector Cougars, who continue to keep the ball on the ground, and will do so again here. No, they will not. Turn around, halfback pass, past the first down, the 5, and close to the 2-yard line. The first pass of the night comes at the hands of Jackson Hill after a great carry earlier. He gets to throw the ball, and a great reception as well.
They're just breaking out all the plays. They come with the reverse and the pass. A little wobbly of a pass, but it doesn't matter. He caught it, and now you've got a 1st and goal And they're trying to go up 2 scores with 2:14 left here in the first quarter.
Samuel Shipley with the 18-yard reception. We've called his name on defense, but he's the tight end as well. Henderson back. 2 backs in front of him. He's going to go behind Cox and can't quite make it in. He'll be close past the 1, but not to the goal line. The setup with a couple of halfbacks there, and Henderson right there in the middle. You pretty much know he's going to keep the ball and go behind those blocks, and it's very, very close. We'll see what happens here. 2nd and goal now.
You're going to have tight splits by this offensive line.
Kept again, and will just run right up the middle. Falling forward for the touchdown, Drew Henderson with his 2nd of the night.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've done all night. They're playing big boy football and getting the offensive line. I mean, those touchdowns are because of the push of this offensive line right now, and that was an easy touchdown for them to get in.
A 48-yard touchdown drive. Once again, don't have to cross midfield to put points on the board. 12-0 right now. Mentioned a little bit earlier in 8-man ball, you will see the 2-point conversion attempt many, many more times than going for the extra point. You're going to see it right here. Rector trying to pick up 2. And Henderson will be met at the 1, but he still falls forward to pick up the 2 points. Rector 14, Izard County nothing.
Yeah, great stretch there at the very end because he got hit hard and stopped at the 1, and he just stretched it across to be able to pick up the touchdown. And how about this? I don't think anybody that keeps up with 8-man football is believing this score right now, 14-0 here in the early going. Especially with the way that Izard County played against Woodlawn last week. I mean, that was a 62-56 game last week.
I expect that offense, and I would just be shocked if it stayed this dormant for too much longer. There's just too much potential there. But in the meantime, the Rector Cougars have played not only good on offense, but they played solid defense as well. We've talked about Izard County and that we expect maybe more from the offense, but what can be said about this Rector defense tonight?
They're playing outstanding. And you know, I've talked so much about the offensive line, but the defensive line has been really good. They have put so much pressure on Buchanan in this ball game. He's just not been able to get comfortable when he throws the football, and you've got to credit them. And then, of course, the defensive backs that are on coverage. You're seeing double coverages on Cruz, one of their top receivers, and they've just not been able to get really settled in this game so far.
A 14-point game right now. That last touchdown run, a 1-yard run by Drew Henderson. He has 2 touchdown carries tonight, 10 carries on the whole for 38 yards.
Look at that rushing number, 95 yards to -7.
The little one hop is going to be fielded by Tyler Hill, and Izard County will take over at its own 43.
You know, Pulaski Academy, who we will see in the 6A game later in the weekend, they are notorious for going onside kick after onside kick after onside kick. For Rector, it's kind of in the in-between a squib and an onside kick. It's almost like that old pooch kick. You remember that, where you kind of hope to get it in dead man's land and run up to it? They just do it at the line of scrimmage.
Wyatt Buchanan now for Izard County. His team is trailing by 14. Has Tyler Hill lined up wide. Cruz in a little slot position instead. Looks to the left and tries to find the tight end, Dakota Townsley. Can't do it. 2nd and 10 on the way.
What is that? The third drop of the ball game by these receivers? I mean, that essentially should have been caught. It went right through his hands.
113 total yards of offense tonight for Rector, 19 so far for Izard County. Still in the first quarter here, though. Same look. Receivers to the right now for Buchanan. And he's going to look over the middle, now looks to the right side, finds Cruz. This time the catch is made, stays on his feet, and goes laterally along that 35-yard line. A first down, the second first down of the night for Izard County.
Well, got in between coverage right there, made the catch, and got bumped around. But, you know, great read that time by Buchanan, and for Cruz to make the catch and get into Rector territory. to have a first down. They've done this before in the game now, just we're not able to come up with points. Let's see if this drive is going to be a little bit different.
Wonder if the cold weather has something to do with this. His Cruz has had to come back for most of the time that he's tried to make the catch. On first down, Stevenson will pick up about a yard, maybe 2 on the carry.
You know, maybe at the next dead ball or something, we'll check in with Dorian and kind of get her perspective of how it feels down there on the field. Because, you know, a lot of times if you're these guys and it's a little chilly outside, you know, and you're in a short sleeve shirt, it may affect you. She's down there just kind of roaming around. We'll get her thoughts on the weather down the field, the conditions.
Clock's running now. First quarter winding down, 2nd and 8. And Stevenson back with Buchanan. He'll set the block. Buchanan, catch is made by Hill. 25, stays on his feet, inbounds, 20. And still trying to struggle forward. He'll pick up to about the 18-yard line. And this is another first down now for Izard County.
Yeah, it's Caden Avery who was finally able to make the stop. But, you know, Hill doing a great job of dragging defenders, stepping over guys, and just trying to make a play for his team right here. Look at this. You get out of one tackle, and he says, whoop, and then I'm going to go right and step over a couple guys before I finally fall down.
Does a pretty good job just to stay inbound.
Yeah.
The clock will roll to zeros here in the first quarter.
Break.
It's Rector 14, Izard County nothing. Maybe a bit of a surprise to some folks here in the state championship game. 14-point advantage for Rector. We'll take a break. Back in a moment. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season. With our busy lives today, we often forget the greatest gift of Christmas. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. I hope all of us will take the time and share the love of Christ this season. May your holidays be filled with joy and blessings. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Everett.
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackleford.
PBS has the perfect keepsake from the game. Download photos at myarpbs.org/photos.
Dorian, we talked about how cold it was down there. Does that make a difference, and what's it feel like to you?
I just checked my phone. Right now the temperature has fallen to 42 degrees down here on the field. There's a little bit of wind, but mostly it's pretty clear, pretty dry as we take a look at that completed pass there. But for the field conditions, there's no reason down here for it to be problematic, but we know that a cold ball, a little bit harder to hold, a little bit harder to throw and catch.
Thank you, Dorian. That completed pass you talked about, Buchanan to Hill. A gain of 13. That's enough to pick up the first down. It's 1st and goal now. The first quarter really was all Rector all the time. Izard County trying to flip the script just a little bit here as the second quarter is underway. Just inside the 5-yard line, 1st and goal now for Izard County. Hill lined up on the left. Stevenson in the back. And the throw, quick throw to Hill, nearly picked off, and there was nothing but green in front of Jacob Cox.
Yeah, Jacob Cox wanted that. You know, what Dorian just said, that with it being cold outside, that ball is a little bit harder, and sometimes it's a tough ball to catch, and you see it right there. That's probably an interception if it's a little bit warmer of a day. And you think back to some of the mishaps for Izard County early in the ball game where they were dropping passes or it was going through their hands. It is a little bit different when you play in these colder conditions.
Hill lined up on the left again. Ball spotted just past the left hash mark. Now Buchanan looking to the right, rolling to the right, has Cruz, and Cruz with the catch and the score. Touchdown, Izard County.
It was only a matter of time before Cruz was able to find the end zone and did it on tight coverage that time. Great job by him to find a nice drag route on that right side and come up with the touchdown.
So looking for the play, how it's going to be run here. It's a little bit different look now, as Buchanan is on the sideline. And Cruz now looks to take the snap.
It's going to be like the Wildcat, but in 8-man style.
Cruz has a couple of blockers, potential blockers to his left. He's going to try to go behind them, pushing forward to the 1, and he is stopped at the 1-inch line. Does not get in for 2. So the touchdown, 6 points, and Izard County is on the board. And RJ, realistically, that's where the Izard County Cougars needed to be, was finally on the board.
Yeah, no, and regardless of getting the 2-point conversion or not, look how close that was. Boy, it was right there at the mark, and he couldn't quite get in. But, you know, hey, you get on the board, you've got some points now. Now it's just, I'm not going to say cruise control, but you get back into your ball game. You don't worry about the rock hard ball hitting you in the hands and it's stinging a little bit. You don't worry about that anymore. You don't worry about not getting a push at the offensive line. And you kind of get those jitters out, and now you play football. And but for Rector, boy, I tell you what, they have been impressive now on 2 straight drives. This will be their 3rd.
They really have. I think that was Jacob Cox, by the way, that had Cruz's foot and was just hanging on for dear life. And if he had not grabbed his foot when he did, Cruz would have been able to take that in for the score, and that's just a fantastic play on defense. And to go back even to what we looked at, the ball potential interception was dropped. I think you have to say a lot for the fact that it was well defended, because that was a quick pass over there, and Cox got in position to make the play there. Of course, they do ultimately get the touchdown, but I think that a lot's to be said, continues to be said, for not only what Rector's doing on offense, but what they're doing on defense.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And so either way, they're going to have the football back with 11:43 to go. Rector trying to build off what they've done so far here in the ball game.
A 57-yard touchdown drive. And there, another onside kick look, this time from Izard County.
And they got it.
Izard County's going to pick it up.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow. We've seen it from Rector so far, that just kind of in between. Was it an onside kick? Was it a little pooch kick? No doubt about this one. Trying for the onside kick. That's exactly what they do. Coming up quickly to the line and getting over there in time to grab that one. The Izard County Cougars in control.
Yeah, I mean, that's just catching the front line for Rector off guard. That's all that was right there, was you come out, you kick the quick onside kick, and now you get the football back.
Tyler Hill picking that up for Izard County. Now he's going to line up wide on the left side. Buchanan back in at quarterback after he stepped out after the 2-point conversion, looking down the field for Hill. Hill coming back for this one, tipped around and incomplete.
Great job that time by Evan Holmes. He was running step for step with Izard County's Tyler Hill and did not allow for him to have any space to try to catch the football.
Well, that's what Izard County needed to do. They have, in essence, flipped the script here. No real turnovers. However, you have to say that from the perspective of when you get the ball, it's just as good as a turnover on that onside kick recovery. So 2nd and 10 now. Buchanan back again, looking to the left again. Way too high for Hill this time. 3rd and 10 on the way.
Yeah, and a little misread that time, because I think he was planning on having Hill streak on an out route, but he cut back in, and you saw the ball sail right there.
Wyatt Buchanan on the evening, 7 for 16 passing for 81 yards and a touchdown. He's completed just 44% of his passes. That's off the mark for the number he set over the course of the season. He'll get another opportunity here. Well, he'll get another opportunity in a moment.
Going to call a false start, I believe, on Izard County.
So they'll walk this one back 5.
Have a false start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Well, for what this Izard County offense has the potential to do, it's not insurmountable, 3rd and 15. And even if you pick up half of it at this point, RJ, you have to expect Izard County to go for on 4th again.
Yeah, they've done it twice so far in this game. I wouldn't think this was any different.
Buchanan steps back, looks around, and that one couldn't tell if that was for Cruz or for Hill. Defenders there on both. And it will bring up 4th and long.
Well, now it's interesting because you're in your own territory. And look, do we have a penalty?
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Yeah, roughing the passer. So that's actually a break for Izard County to get the roughing the passer penalty.
Well, that really changes things here in the 2nd quarter. We've talked about that defense for Rector, but now it's moving backwards. And Izard County with some momentum here in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you go from potentially having a 4th down in your own territory at the, what was it, the 48-yard line, and now you're in Rector territory at the 36.
Quick pitch forward to Cruz. Cruz in motion, and he is going to lose about 1.5 yards on that carry.
You know, right now, Izard County still rushing -5 yards for the game.
And that's really a stat that's worth looking at, too. -5 on just 5 carries on the evening, averaging -1 per carry. This is as opposed to 16 pass attempts on the evening for Buchanan. It's really still been pass heavy, even though the success has been somewhat limited. Second and a little more than 11 yards now for Izard County. Buchanan has a little time looking over the middle. That one tipped before it got to Cruz. Great job. Nice job reaching up for that. Evan Holmes.
Yeah, he got up there to tip that one away and just barely got a finger on it. See the cross the shot. Look at that. Just right there off the top of his fingers, knocked it away and was able to force a 3rd down now.
Just enough. Holmes has had a good night on defense as well. Well, we could just mention player after player so far for Rector. 3rd and long now. A little more than 11 yards. Buchanan well back in the shotgun. Looking over the middle this time. Has her catch by Hill, and Hill will move the sticks for Izard County down to the 20-yard line, right at it.
Well, and that's a great job by Hill. He just had a stop route, and he faked out Evan Holmes because Holmes thought he was going to run a deep route. He just fell down, and it allowed for Hill to come up and make the catch.
Hill lining up to that left side once again. Ball near the left hash. Buchanan looking at Hill, throws a little screen, and it is caught by Stevenson. He runs forward for about 7.
You know, one thing about playing here at War Memorial, I think you got to be a little bit more lenient on late hit out of bounds plays because they've had to artificially make a sideline, and that little thin line might be kind of tough to see.
Stevenson, who is the leading ball carrier for this Izard County team, 114 carries coming in, and he has 2 receptions tonight to go along with 3 rushes. Stevenson in the backfield along with Buchanan, who steps up just a little bit now. Hill lined up wide. 2nd and 4. Hill stops, cuts across the middle, and the slant route is successful. Touchdown, Izard County. Nice look, little hesitation to the outside, right across the middle, and Buchanan finds him in stride.
Yeah, he threw a dart right there, and I don't understand why they've been trying to go deep throughout this game because those slant patterns have been there, and Hill was able to just get inside the corner and make the catch, and now it's a 2-point game trying to tie it up right here.
Rector got the first 2 touchdowns in this state championship game. A 2-point conversion on the second one. Izard County trying to match that here, trailing by 2. And it will be Cruz again. to receive that Wildcat direct snap. Steps to the right, cuts into the middle, slung around, and he will come up short once again. Ever so close to getting 2 points, and for the second time, Izard County comes up just a bit short. Cruz is going to get up, maybe just a little bit shaken up from that, but with 9:55 left here in the first half, Izard County is back to within 2. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Coming up on the halftime show, one of the longest rivalries.
We will be in a media timeout.
Arkansas PBS Student All-Stars.
And a look at when Arkansas students spoke to NASA astronauts in space. It's all coming up on the halftime show. See you then.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
You've spent years exploring Arkansas with us. Did you know Arkansas PBS is also here to help you explore your financial options to be more prepared for the future? Almost 2/3 of Americans don't have a will in place. Your thoughtful planning of a will or trust can help protect you and your family. It can also help guide the future of public television in Arkansas. Explore your options. Request a free estate planning booklet from Arkansas PBS today.
Hey, football fans, join the conversation like my buddy Mason Woolbright on social media with the hashtag ARPBS Sports. And if you want to join that conversation, everybody's talking about the championships right now all throughout the weekend. And you can do so on social media with that hashtag ARPBS Sports.
This is definitely a fun weekend.
No, it's one of my favorite. Between this and the basketball state championships, I love it, man. I love just being out and watching teams, get state championships and make dreams come true.
Little quick kick goes just 10 yards, and that is enough for Rector to come up and make the grab right there. They're going to start at midfield now. Well, that's a change. Been starting in Izard County territory.
Yeah, now it'll be a little bit different. Whoa, where'd this come from?
Buchanan with the 13-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Hill, and that brought our score to 14-12. Cruz stopped just short of the goal line on the 2-point conversion attempt. And so Izard County trailing by 2. Rector now wanting to make some noise here in the second quarter. This will be their first opportunity. Izard County, after its last score, successful on an onside kick attempt and met well behind the line for the sack that time as Drew Henderson had nowhere to go. And Izard County's defense comes to life.
Well, and really for Rector, Gage Thompson, the offensive lineman, he missed his block. He got beat that time by Malachi Cruz, and he just missed his block, and it allowed for Cruz to get in the backfield.
Cruz probably still maybe a little sore from being slung down there.
Yeah.
He went for 2, so he's going to take it out on the other team. He was there for that, chasing Cox in the backfield, and he's going to be there for another tackle. Malachi Cruz is everywhere.
I don't think he's sore anymore. I think he is flying around and making plays offensively, defensively. He is a gamer for sure. And look at this, comes across the field, chases him down, boom, got you.
He was the pinball there for a moment, just going off of different players in white jerseys and makes his way through. He had an eye for number 21 and met him at the line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd and 13 now. Evan Holmes lining up wide now for Rector. And Henderson rolling to his left, comes back to the middle, has nowhere to go. A 2-yard loss there, and it will bring up 4th down and long.
Looks like we've got a penalty flag down, and it was as he was running away, one of his offensive linemen just had a hold of the defensive end, and he couldn't go anywhere.
We'll wait to see if this penalty is accepted here.
Holding, offense. Penalty will be declined. 4th down.
So Coach Johnson deciding that it's worth it to go ahead and give that one up. Send it to 4th down, 4th and 14. A difficult situation now for Rector tonight.
Yeah, and you know, for as much as they dominated there in the first half, it's been quite the opposite here in the second quarter.
Dalton Lamar, we've called his name a couple of times on defense. He is set to receive the snap and punt it, and he does. It's a low punt. No one back to receive. It's going to roll down, well, inside the 20 and roll back out. So at the 21-yard line, that's where Izard County will set up shop and try to move down the field. A nice drive on their last possession. They'll see if they can go 79 yards here.
I didn't think either one of these teams knew how to kick the football. I mean, you hadn't seen them. That's the first punt of the ball game.
You don't see the little P or the K listed by anyone's name on either team on the roster.
And when you ask the coaches, nobody talks about how good the kicker is. So they just say, you know, that guy doesn't exist.
Coming off the back-to-back touchdown drives now, Izard County, the offense, finding some momentum here in the second quarter. Both touchdowns coming in the second quarter. And Buchanan is back. Deep in the shotgun, has Hill to his left. Hill streaking down the field. Pass is caught at the 43-yard line, past midfield. A fantastic catch by Hill.
You know, all this game prep that I did for this game, that after talking with people, said they don't go deep very often. This is like the fifth time here in the first half that, you know, they weren't successful early on, but here in the second quarter, they're just throwing bombs.
36 yards on that completion for Izard County. They move past midfield, and they are in motion now. It's Cruz lining up to the left this time. Buchanan's going to look. Cruz coming across the middle into double coverage, and that one well beyond the receiver or defenders.
Well, and what they're doing, they're lining Hill and Cruz up, and one is either doing a crossing pattern while the other one goes deep, or vice versa. And so it's allowing for one-to-one coverages in the backfield or in the secondary, and they're just letting the speed of those two guys try to outrun the corners.
You'll notice also that Cruz drew double coverage once again, and we're seeing Buchanan walking slowly to the sideline. They're going to tend to him right now.
Yeah, and the official, if the official was the one that pulled him out of the game and told the training staff to come over and check on him.
So we'll look to see here who is in at quarterback. Cruz is going to receive the snap. Stevenson sets up the block, and Cruz is met at about the line of scrimmage. He gets forward for maybe a half yard from there.
You ever seen a quarterback with a neck roll? He's getting there. There it is right there. I don't think that might be the first time ever.
Maybe the first. Well, Buchanan comes back in, so he was out for just a play. Had a little conversation with Coach Johnson on the sideline over there, and he comes back in at 3rd and 13 now. Buchanan, deep shotgun, steps up. He's going to keep it and has room to go. Past the first down marker, the 30, down to the 25 and to the 24. Nice look that time by Wyatt Buchanan, and he knew what to do with the ball, and that's the first time we've seen him do that. He didn't find the look he wanted downfield, so he kept it.
Yeah, and the entire middle of the field was wide open. He was wanting to go with a deep pass, and he realized, well, heck, there's nobody. They went double coverage on the outsides with both receivers, and so it left the middle of the field wide open, and he just took off with it.
And not only a strong arm, but some strong legs as well. A big boy there as Buchanan rolls out, looks to his left, trying to find Hill, and that will one hop to get to him.
And not to mention he was out of bounds. He went a little bit far. I don't think he saw where the out of bounds line is, and maybe we can get a shot of that sideline, because it is about as thick as the yard lines on the field.
Well, and another thing about, field awareness, too. I mean, if you're used to playing on this 40-yard field, that's one thing. But often on your home field, the numbers are a little bit farther away from the sideline. You see the numbers right there. If you're looking for the numbers ordinarily, you have a little bit more room with which to work. And Buchanan keeps it past the 20, pushing his way forward past the first down line. And he keeps the Izard County Cougars moving on offense.
By the way, I had somebody text here just a moment ago, and they said, wait a minute, they put another line in the middle of the field. What about all the other state championship games? Well, I can tell you at about 8 o'clock in the morning, there's going to be a guy. It's going to be about 30 degrees here, and he's going to have a pressure washer going up and down the field here at War Memorial, spraying that line off. It's an erasable line here at the stadium.
It'll be ready for tomorrow.
Oh, it'll be ready, but that poor guy's going to be cold in the morning when he's washing it away.
Buchanan has been using his arms and legs on this possession. Takes the snap deep, and he will hold on to it again. Cuts back to the middle of the field and down to the 10-yard line. A gain of 4 on the carry.
Doing a lot with his feet on this drive, and you get down, this is an opportunity to take the first lead of the ball game for Izard County. And if you look at your first read, it's not there, things break down. He's got the ability to run, and he's showing it so far.
He is, and on this drive in particular, he's had 2 touchdown throws already this evening. Wouldn't be surprised to see him with a touchdown carry before this first half is over with. 6 minutes left here in this first half, and Buchanan has nowhere to go and loses the ball. Nice job by Izard County. Tristan Wood to grab that one and keep possession.
Yeah, and that's a big-time loss for Izard County to bring up 3rd down, and they're going to lose about, it's going to be about 6, maybe 7 yards on the play, and it sticks you back behind the 15, and he just lost the handle on it. It just slipped right out of there.
Well, another great job by Dalton Lamar. Wrapped him up, popped the ball out there, and what more can be said? Tristan Wood there, right place, right time, fell on it. Heads-up play. Buchanan now, 3rd and long again. And he has Stevenson to his left. Sets up a block. Buchanan, pass over the middle, caught by Cruz to the 10, bulling his way past the 5-yard line. He may have picked up the first down, and I believe he did.
That was a great run. He took on 3 guys and put that neck in the back of that neck roll and just said, let's roll. I mean, watch this. 1, 2, and drags a 3rd. Oh, no, there's 4. Excuse me. He took on 4 guys and got that first down. By the way, and I keep referencing it, that's like a 1990s neck roll, like just big and yeah. Oh, is it a hoodie? Maybe it's a hoodie. Looks like a neck roll.
Cruz takes the snap, and actually the ball is on the turf, and it's picked up by Rector. I thought he had a knee on the ground. He did. Cox isn't quite sure what to do with it, and he's going to head and slow up, but he does get the ball. The first turnover of the night goes to Rector. The defense holds.
And it just bounced right off him. He's having a hard time holding on to the football, and boom, right there. He was able to get it. And did he touch it when his knee was down? Or did
I believe so.
Okay.
And I had said that was Cruz back there. Actually, was Buchanan back there and in and out of his hands. So the snap not collected cleanly.
He needs to get one of those hot pockets where you can stick your hands in there and keep those hands warm. But, he's one of those guys also that's playing both ways, so you don't really have a break, from offense to defense.
See him right now. Rector to keep the ball on the ground, pushing forward, and that may be a first down.
That's what you call That's what you call team effort, because he got about 4 yards, and 2 of his offensive linemen came in and gave a good push to get him the next 6.
Yeah, I thought he was even hit maybe at the line too. He just willed his way forward, and there are times you get by with a little help from your friends. And he did just then. Henderson picks up the first down for Rector, and so after the defense comes up with the first turnover of the night, Rector trying to move all the way down the field, and Henderson doing his part. Gain of about 6 there.
Just taking big chunks of yardage. I mean, one after another, picks up 6 yards that time.
Drew Henderson on the night, 14 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdown runs. both quarterbacks responsible for each of the touchdowns for the team. Henderson's been able to do it on the ground as Buchanan with a couple of touchdown passes. And this time the give inside. It's going to be Cox nearly to the 35-yard line, but enough for a first down. Cox on the evening. That's his 7th carry tonight. He moves the sticks there. 47 yards rushing tonight for Jacob Cox, averaging 6.7 yards per carry. And the chains are moved forward. 1st and 10 now, as the clock is inside 4 minutes here in the first half. These two teams each won their respective semifinal contests by just 1 score. Rector by 2 points, and Izard County by 6 points. And we have all the makings for a contest that looks similar here. Gain of 4 now on first down, and the Rector Cougars are moving. Just 1 pass tonight for Rector, and it actually was a halfback pass. Past the 40 up to about the 42-yard line now for Rector, and it will bring up 3rd and short. Clock closing in on 3 minutes now as the Rector offense continuing to elect to keep the ball on the turf. Coach Hendricks keeping that right there on the turf. On the left side, up and up for the first down. The clock will stop as they move the chains now. And another good carry by Cox. Rector with another first down. Crowd appreciative here. Nice crowd on hand here in War Memorial as it is a chilly evening. And these two fan bases had to travel a little bit to get here.
Yeah, they did, up around the Jonesboro area. And both these communities separated by about 119 miles.
Cox with another carry, this time past midfield, and the clock continues to run. That was one of the things, by the way, in the semifinal match, as we stop the clock for just a moment. Well, the player's a little bit slow to get up now for Rector, and that is Cox. Coach Hendricks definitely wants him to be able to get up and walk off. He'll take a seat for a moment. Grayson Bryant coming in his place on second down. Izard County, with fantastic clock management in their semifinal game, held the ball, let the clock run out. They wanted that last play, and it wound up being a 26-yard touchdown score. Rector trying to do the same here in the final, holding onto the ball as Henderson gets past one, past another, and down to the 40-yard line. Another first down. That'll stop the clock long enough to move the chains again. And Rector on the move here as the first half is winding down.
Yeah, great balance. I mean, he was able to use 1 foot, pull away from another guy, and get that first down. And just a great running attack by this Rector team. I really like no matter whether it's the running back or the quarterback, they've got guys that have great vision and can find holes, and not to mention the offensive line doing a great job pushing that defensive line around.
These two teams just about even in total yards on the night, even on the scoreboard pretty close, just the 2-point advantage for Rector. Cox is back in, and he makes it past the 35, down to the 34. And timeout is called by Rector. It's the first timeout called tonight, 1.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. And RJ, again, as we talked about the offense here and the ground game, just 1 pass thrown tonight by Rector. Everything else has been moving the ball on the ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, they have, that's that old school football where, it's just 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But for them, they've done such a good job of getting a push. It's not 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore.
Is Dorian happening?
It's more like, 4, 5, 6 yards in a cloud of dust.
Which is pretty impressive. You get that dust here on the turf, too. So,
yeah, I know. Well, it's more like 3 yards in a cloud of rubber. The rubber pellets.
14-12 the score here. And I talked about the numbers from total offense tonight, and really pretty even. 185 for Izard County, 167 for Rector. But if you look even at the passing yardage and what you would normally see from Izard County, 168 yards through the air. Rector's almost been exclusively its 167 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and they've done it effectively for sure. And I don't see that changing too much.
No. Well, it's what we expected from both these teams, and there is a massive miscommunication at the line. And Rector, the snap came, but the players were talking about, I think that they thought maybe someone had jumped, someone's offsides. Flags come down anyway.
Illegal motion, offense.
Illegal motion
5-yard
against
penalty, first down.
Rector, and so, and what's crazy about this is that this first half has taken about an hour and 15 minutes. And if it were Rector's game, this thing would have been over with in about 20. I mean, they just run.
Well, and again, that was a miscommunication. Players standing up after being on the line, standing up, and then the ball was snapped. And obviously there was movement there, so that draws the flags. It'll be second now and nearly 10. There's a snap and the reverse, but the ball hits the turf and it's a turnover. It'll go the other direction. Izard County's defense is there, and a nice job. Picking that one up is Ashton Grisham, a senior, one of 13 seniors on this Izard County team, and he'll remember that.
Once again, and look, they both have to play in it, but I think you're seeing more mistakes. Watch, just on the handoff, and he's not wearing gloves, and you got to know those hands are cold. And I think that you just lost the handle. I mean, you see that some of these kids are wearing gloves, and I don't know. I just think that your hands get a little numb, and that football hits, and you just don't feel it.
There's White Buchanan coming back in, and the last time he was in, a little bit of trouble collecting the snap. No trouble right there. The quick pass over the left side. Catch is made by Stevenson. Straddles the sideline, and he is leveled once he gets past the 40.
Yeah, got a great run and catch. By the way, did you notice on those stats? It must have been during the offseason. Ed Leon with Arkansas PBS, he's got the QBR number on the stats. He's really upgraded the stats inventory here at Arkansas PBS.
Wow. And
that's a big-time hit.
Absolutely brought down intentionally. No question. 1st and 10 at the 40. Still more than a minute. Throwing back over his shoulder, and Buchanan tries to find Cruz completely on the other side of the field. And that one knocked down, but fortunate for Izard County that wasn't picked off.
That is a dangerous pass. You go back across your body, across the other side of the field. I mean, he had to throw it. It's 40 yards long or wide, and he threw it about 35. I mean, look at this. Back across your body, trying to find a man. That's not gonna do any good.
We've talked about the fact that he can throw the ball. He's very strong, and it takes strength to be able to do that and get it as far as he did. Buchanan looking at 2nd and 10 now. 2 receivers to his left. Stutter step through the middle. He's going to keep it past the 35 and brought down at the 31, a little short of the first down.
Good vision, though. I know I keep saying that, but, for Buchanan, looking downfield, and he just doesn't see anything. He looks at read number 1, then read number 2, and then after that it says, okay, well, I'm read number 3. I'm going to take off with it.
Clock running inside a minute, and finally a timeout is taken. Izard County goes ahead to take that timeout, and trailing by 2 here in the first half, each team with 2 timeouts remaining. And Izard County on the move, RJ.
Yeah, they really are. And this is that offense that we've seen much of this second quarter. They were pretty much non-existent there in the first, and they've scored 12 points here in the second quarter to make this a 2-point game. And if they take the lead, we'll hear from Jared Johnson, their head coach at the half. Dorian will catch up with him and get his thoughts on the first half. But I would be interested to know, for some of these teams, what was it on those first 3 drives that were the jitterbugs there? Because really since about the third possession for Izard County, they looked like a totally different team.
There's the Cougar looking to get ready wants to celebrate one more time here in this first half, and you're exactly right. The first 2 possessions for Izard County didn't look like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Wyatt Buchanan, you saw those stats from a little bit earlier, better than 50% completion ratio here in the first half. 184 yards passing right now. 3rd and short, he has receivers, 3 of them to his left. Looking over, there's the screen pass taken by Hill. That's the first down, past the 20, and out of bounds. And a fantastic decision by Hill to get out of bounds there. That will stop the clock. Of course, it'll stop momentarily as they move the chains. Goes down to the 16-yard line, 1st and 10.
Well, that's a great job by Hill, but he went heads up with him, man, like he was going to try to run him over. You know, that could have been bad to where he said, you know, they take him down and the clock keeps rolling. Just get out of bounds. So let the clock stop.
1st and 10 now, 38 seconds remain. Izard County with 2 timeouts here in the first half. Izard County 2 for 3 inside the red zone. And that's where they are right now. Previous possession, a fumble recovered by Rector. Buchanan stops, looks back to his left. There's Cruz at the 5, stays on his feet. 4-3, 2-1, and in for the score. Cruz finds his way into the end zone, and for the first time tonight, with 31 seconds left in the first half, Izard County has the lead.
Malachi Cruz, he is a man amongst boys right now. I mean, the senior, watch this, gets around one, breaks off a second one, just pulls him into the end zone.
And he gets up, and he was excited about that. Well, he should be. Have you determined that may be a hoodie now?
I can't tell. I think it is. The people in the truck are saying it's a hoodie. I think it looks like one of those 90s. Is that? Yeah, I think it is. I saw it flopping. Okay. I was really hoping that was one of those neck rolls.
Buchanan in for the 2-point conversion attempt. Looks to Cruz. He was open at first. Defender gets over there. Cruz makes the catch. He stays in bounds.
Oh, wow.
And a 2-point conversion successful for Izard County. And the Izard County Cougars up by 6 now.
Wow. I mean, look at this. I mean, got a foot in. Oh, what a great catch. And to get the foot down.
Well, and it was a different look then for the 2-point conversion. We've seen Cruz take the direct snap in each of the previous 2 conversion attempts. This time Buchanan is in, and Cruz lined up wide, and he was open. I mean, it really took a little while for Caden Avery just to get over to where Cruz was.
Yeah, and you know, the finesse, and we talked about those lines for the sidelines. For Cruz to get to the back corner of the end zone and know where he was to get the 1 foot down, that's really an impressive sight just for this young man to play out here. He's having a heck of a night tonight. For Cruz, he's not really had to run the ball, but 7 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Buchanan with 3 touchdown passes tonight. Big night. And again, we mentioned earlier, Cruz responsible for the walk-off touchdown, if you will.
Yeah.
In the semifinal. Big touchdown grab, went up among defenders, brought it down, and Izard County moving on into the state championship game. He has his first touchdown reception there, or second touchdown reception there. Tyler Hill with one as well. They've been these short kicks all night long with 31 seconds remaining here in the half. Will that be the case again? No, this one a little pooch kick beyond the front 2 lines and grabbed by Cox at the 31. Still on his feet, comes back to the left, and he'll be brought down at about the 43-yard line. Gavin Stevens in on the tackle for Izard County. Well, you wondered if they were going to go with the short kick again, and that little pooch kick, think that's all right, but with Cox back deep to receive it, he's dangerous.
He really is. He is a fun player to watch, and he just took it off of a hop, and you only have to beat out 8 dudes. Like you go right and then cut back left, and you got a shot.
25 seconds remaining here in the first half. And the snap taken by Henderson, and he's going to push forward to near midfield. Don't think Rector's in too big a hurry right now. might get one more playoff, or they may be content to let the clock run.
They're ready to go get in those heaters. Head to the locker room.
Throw it to Dorian.
Yeah, Dorian's going to, believe, head down, and she's going to catch up with Izard County's coach Jared Johnson as they make their way off the field. And, hey, what an impressive second quarter, though, for Izard County.
Really, very much so. As a matter of fact, all Rector in the first, all Izard County in the second.
Yeah, Dorian's waiting on Coach to make his way over as the half is here. And let's see where Dorian is. Okay, there I got her. She's waiting on Coach as he was out talking to the officials. So we'll just wait on her for a moment. But, yeah, Izard County, 241 yards of total offense there in the first half. And that's really impressive because at the end of the first quarter, this was a team that didn't even have 50 yards total of offense after the first quarter. So what they did really after the first, got their nerves settled and got ready to go was pretty impressive.
We'll go down to Dorian on the sideline with Coach Johnson.
Coach, 20 unanswered points for your offense. What was the biggest difference in the second quarter?
Oh, you know, we just finally got going and executed a little bit on the offense. Had some big plays open early and just dropped them, missed the ball. That's part of the game. And, hey, I knew they'd come out and bring a big physical game, and it's to be expected.
How do you slow down Drew Henderson?
You know, they're just big physical guys, and we've got to try to find a way to match that physicality. And you play in and out every week, and you just don't see teams as physical as they are. I'll give them that. They're a really good physical football team. Block it well and run it well. So we'll try to make some adjustments, see what we can get done.
Coach, thank you. Joey?
Thank you, Dorian. I think we've seen a lot of physicality from both these teams in the first half. That's a 6-point advantage for the Izard County Cougars over the Rector Cougars in this state championship game. Take a break. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Break in 3, 2, 1, clear.
Since 1999, we've been with you every step of the way. From your first savings account, to graduation, to your first home. Centennial Bank is here to walk with you into the future. Though we've grown, Arkansas is still our home. We're still local bankers invested in our communities, here to help you however we can. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We'll be here when you need us. Centennial Bank, member FDIC.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car, to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Hey everybody, David Basil here. It is halftime at War Memorial. That means we are back here at Arkansas PBS Studios to share with you a little bit of what we've been working on. In a few minutes, Ed Leon is going to catch you up on the bigger picture, if you will, at Arkansas PBS. Ashley King is going to fill you in on some student athletes who are excelling on the field and, more importantly, in the classroom. And we're going to take a look at one of the biggest football rivalries in the state. But first, the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame was established way back in 1958 to honor and memorialize outstanding individuals and to promote legacy and inspire younger generations. Take a look.
1958 was a year of change in America. The Hope Diamond was donated to the Smithsonian Museum. The microchip was invented. NASA was created by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And in Arkansas, deep in the recesses of War Memorial Stadium, a group of prominent Little Rock businessmen founded the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. The original mission of the Hall of Fame was simple enough:
to recognize and induct individuals and teams that have brought honor to the state of Arkansas, and we do provide scholarships for student athletes.
It's a great place for young people to get inspired, to come here themselves, to walk through and to read these stories and think, someday that can be me.
We inducted our first class in 1959. We have over 500 inductees.
Basketball players, football players, baseball players, archery or in sharpshooting, trap shooting, runners, golfers.
Horse racing, car racing.
It's a great cross-section of what sports is.
For more than 60 years, the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame worked to honor those most accomplished athletes who call the natural state home.
Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame selection process is simple but a little complicated. You can go online and nominate your favorite sports hero.
That person goes into a master database. Selection committee comes up with those 50 people on the voting list for each category. That is mailed out to the dues-paying members. You pick your top 5. Those come back. The top 2 vote getters in the regular category automatically get in. The top vote getter from the senior category automatically gets in.
And then the board votes on the remaining inductees.
And then you wait for a call.
When you get the call, it's a big deal.
You know, when I was inducted to the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame, or however, when I received the call, I feel like I've reached something.
Being from a small town, rural area, which Arkansas is a lot of that way, and when you get picked for something this prestigious, it has a huge impact on your life.
It seemed to me it was the cap of my athletic career.
I just seemed like all the hard work has paid off for me.
All the people you meet, all the connections you make.
They welcome you. It was remarkable to me the night that I came to be inducted, because the former inductees, they want you to feel like, hey, you're part of us now.
Clearly, sports in Arkansas isn't all fun and games.
Sports is a common ground that brings everybody together, and we compete. We want to see a good battle, but we want to shake hands afterwards, and there's a mutual respect for everyone that played.
Athletics teaches you discipline, it teaches you teamwork, it prepares you for life. It got me a full scholarship at the University of Central Arkansas.
Eventually, the Hall of Fame had grown to need a new home, and by early 2007, construction was complete on the almost 14,000 square foot Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame Museum, located in what is now Simmons Bank Arena in North Little Rock.
All the communities in the state have an opportunity to make sure their heroes are remembered, and they do that. You walk through this Hall of Fame, see a helmet from some small community hero, a smaller college maybe than the Razorbacks are.
Jerseys, pictures, statistics, all kinds of memorabilia.
Like a picture of Scottie Pippen standing next to a polar bear for some reason.
It's just like creating the milestones of the people who started and who laid the foundation.
Their favorite thing is always the Bears back there in the car, the Mark Martin car, but they actually get to see how sports in Arkansas started.
Everybody, as they were growing up, had their favorite sports heroes. We preserve those sports heroes for the different generations.
They can look there and say, wow, this person overcame this. They came from maybe an impoverished background, or maybe a beginning that wasn't necessarily headed towards sports but ended up there someday. We have a great sports legacy here. It's a great representation of what this state is about. Hardworking people who endured, who achieved, and so to have that legacy as in a permanent place here, I hope people embrace that and hope they come here and enjoy it.
Look at the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame as motivation and say, hey, one day that's going to be me.
Now you know the history. You can be a part of the future of the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame.
Let's turn now to the student athlete with emphasis on the student part. Ashley, what do you have for us?
Thanks, David. We talked to schools across the state of Arkansas to find out about those athletes that not only excel on the field, but in the classroom, too. Here's the Arkansas PBS Student All-Stars Class of 2022. We're going to start with our 8-man honoree, Jackson Martin. Jackson is a senior quarterback for the Woodline High School Bears. He has a 3.5 grade point average. He plans to attend college and become a coach or study to be a real estate agent. Out of 2A, let's meet Luke King. Luke is a senior quarterback and linebacker for the Hazen High School Hornets. He maintains a 4.0 grade point average and wants to play college football and ultimately become a dentist. Moving on to 3A, here's Sawyer Hoskins with the Melbourne High School Bearcats. This senior offensive and defensive linebacker is a 4-year starter who holds a 4.2 GPA. He also scored an amazing 33 on the ACT exam. He plans to become a pharmacist. Our 4A All-Star this year is Jalen Dupree. Jalen is a junior running back and linebacker for the Malvern High School Leopards. He has a 3.5 grade point average. Following high school, Jalen plans to play college football and major in physical therapy. Coming around to 5A, we have Tavion Haney of the Parkview High School Patriots. Tavion is a senior cornerback and has a 3.5 grade point average. He has received the Outstanding Academic Excellence Award and has won all conference and all state honors. He plans to continue playing football while seeking a degree in engineering or learning a trade. The 6A representative this season is Hayden Webb. The senior offensive lineman for the Greenwood High School Bulldogs maintains a 4.0 GPA and scored a perfect 36 on the ACT exam. He plans to attend the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville after graduation. And finally, we wrap up with our 7A All-Star, Abe Owen. Abe is the senior quarterback for the Cabot High School Panthers. He has a 4.0 GPA. After high school, he plans to go to college and medical school to become an orthopedic surgeon. Congratulations to this year's honorees. Way to go. You know, we may see some of these faces again in April here on Arkansas PBS for Quiz Bowl. Now, if you haven't seen Quiz Bowl, you'll want to make a note to watch this year. Some of the smartest high school students in the state meet up right here in this studio and square off not only for bragging rights, but for some pretty big checks too. And it's all live right here on Arkansas PBS. Speaking of what is on Arkansas PBS, if you're not a regular viewer, here is Ed Leon to tell you what you've been missing.
Thanks, Ashley. Hey, we don't want you to miss a thing here on Arkansas PBS because we're doing a lot. From these sports broadcasts that we do every year to the recent statewide political debates to Arkansas stories made just for you, we have something for everyone. And of course, our foundation here is education.
Now this is where the magic happens.
Arkansas PBS was made for educational television. We want to make learning interesting and fun. It's our mission to build lifelong learners. And part of that is keeping you well informed with our current affairs programming.
For almost 4 decades, Arkansas Week's been keeping you informed of the news and issues that matter most.
I'm Christina Munoz for Arkansas Week. How huge is agriculture/farming here in the state of Arkansas?
The stress farmers and ranchers face every day can be overwhelming. But these resources are for all of our Arkansas farmers.
Election day just around the corner, and everyone agrees there's a lot at stake. It's analysis and insight on the races you care about.
That's just our effort to make sure that testing continues to be available in Arkansas.
Veterans in Arkansas, we got you.
Your well-being is worth fighting for.
Everybody made that sacrifice to make sure I was going to be all right. So my biggest thing is to accept help.
We're building lives, we're building community.
Keeping you informed and engaged. That is public media. And that is what the dedicated people in this building work to do every day. All right, now, we can't go on without giving you a sneak peek at some upcoming productions. Watch this.
He's an important person in U.S. history, and so to do the sculpture, it puts a lot on your shoulders as an artist, that you capture the spirit of this amazing individual.
I was only 3, and my mother just making sure that everything was right.
We're all hanging out, we're all cooking turkeys. We get an opportunity to help a family have a good Thanksgiving.
Get it to Williams, throws it down!
I mean, she just stepped up and nailed the biggest shot right there.
He rattles it home! With the right hand, tie ball game.
When you gonna wake up? Y'all gonna wake up when the season over?
That's swung on, lifted high to right field. He's going back to the warning track. It's out of here!
I would have never known the things I know now without that program. It really helped me advance my opportunity to this career field.
There is something for everybody here on Arkansas PBS. It is our mission to ensure that, and we want you to join our community. Scan that QR code on your screen if you're enjoying these championship games, if you appreciated the amount of time we dedicated to our debate week coverage before the elections, if Arkansas stories are important to you, then sign up and join us. Become a part of the team. That QR code will tell you how to do it, and you'll see it pop up throughout these championship games. All right, I think we've got time for one more Arkansas story, right, Baz?
Yes, we do, Ed. Rivalries in Arkansas. We've got some good ones. One of the biggest pits two close-knit communities in central Arkansas against each other. The game got so big, they had to move it to War Memorial Stadium. Here's a look at the Salt Bowl.
If you've never been around it, it's kind of hard to explain and hard to understand.
Biggest rivalry in the state of Arkansas.
The two communities are close together.
You don't know when you leave one and enter the other.
You go to the right, you're Benton. You go to the left, you're Bryant.
The district line's convoluted, to say the least.
Coming down the interstate, you really can't tell which one's Benton and Bryant.
It is 6:34. We are here at Big Red here. This is our annual Salt Bowl show. We're in Bryant proper, right? We're in Benton proper. Is that right?
A lot of these athletes go to the same churches. They go to the same stores. They eat out at the same places.
So many families who grew up in Benton, who went to Benton, whose kids went to Bryant, vice versa. The rivalry between the two, and I think it's because they are so close.
I always talk trash. My name is Lorelai, and I go to Benton School, but my mom went to Bryant schools.
I'm a sophomore at Benton High School, but my mom was a Bryant cheerleader.
So obviously I am partial to Bryant blue, and the girls are a little more partial to their Panther maroon. I mean, I like to think that this looks a little better, but
Okay.
Yeah, we are a true house divided.
I say, like, y'all are gonna lose at the Salt Bowl. Even though you were on the cheer team, that doesn't mean you need to root for them because they can still be bad and stuff.
Give me the first year Benton and Bryant played. Boom. Let's hear it. He knows. That's a good guess. It was 1970. Roger? Four. 1974.
This is C.W. Lewis Stadium, where many games between the Benton Panthers and Bryant Hornets beginning in 1974 were played, and really where the Salt Bowl began, the 1999 game when you had over 12,000 people. And then also up on top of this building, there were people standing as far as you could see. I was just dumbfounded. I remember Mayor Farmer, then Coach Farmer, saying something to me. He's like, you know, we probably need to think about doing something different.
And we started talking about what could we do to make the game bigger and better.
We've now reached the point that both schools have outgrown the ability to play this game in our own stadiums. We've got to look at doing something different, and why not go, War Memorial Stadium. Quickly became more than just a football game. It started a Salt Bowl t-shirt. That's what started the hot dogs that we gave away for free to attract people to come to the game. That eventually led to Arkansas's largest high school tailgate party, as we call it. The one thing I think I'm the most proud of is we also wanted it to give back to our community. We've had charity partners, the Arkansas Food Bank, we've always done a blood drive, and we've had partnerships with the Cancer Society or Goodwill. And so it's always been more than just a game.
People were out there, they got their maroon on, they got their blue on, one big family, because it's about family. That's what community is about, is a family. And they're having a great time. But buddy, when you walk through that gate and you take your side, whether it be the Bryant Hornets side or whether it be the Benton Panthers side, it's all over because it's war. When that whistle blows at 7 o'clock and that kickoff's given, it's war, and everyone's pulling for their team and yelling and screaming, and it's just fully spirited and having a great time. But you know what? Once the game's over, people intermingle again in the parking lot and a family again.
Oh yeah, we love a good rivalry. What do you guys think?
Oh, there is nothing like the energy of a rivalry game.
And the best part about a rivalry, there's always next year.
That's right. It was my favorite part of playing football, especially when we won.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you at home want to see your school's rivalry featured, hit us up on social, use the hashtag ARPBSRival, and maybe we'll be in your town next. Well, that's it for us on the Halftime Show.
Now let's get back to War Memorial Stadium for the second half.
Right here on your home for the high school football state finals, Arkansas PBS.
the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Back, go.
Well, you can't say it was really a tale of two halves yet, but you can say it was a tale of two quarters. It was all Rector in the first quarter, all Izard County in the second quarter, leading us to this halftime score in which Izard County holds a 6-point advantage. Cougars over Cougars here in the state championship game. Joey McWilliams along with R.J. Hawk and Dorian Kraft as we are here looking out at War Memorial Stadium, and it's a cold night here tonight, but Dorian, you had an opportunity to learn a little bit at the half. Tell us what you've learned.
Head coach Dave Hendricks was succinct. He said, "We shot ourselves in the foot." Hendricks really felt that the Cougars had multiple opportunities to take control of the game after running out to a 14-point lead. Hendricks said the biggest difference in the second quarter was Izard County started going to the intermediate passes. Instead of looking for the home run pass, look for the Cougars to play much more man in this half to try to counteract those slants.
Dorian, real quick before we let you go, I saw your hair blowing a little bit. Is the wind starting to pick up down there on the field?
RJ, the wind is starting to pick up a little bit, and I don't know if you noticed, but it actually started drizzling late in the first quarter, so the precipitation is something that we are paying attention to down here on the field.
Thank you, Dorian. And you know, that she's right, because, you know, even though they're not kicking the football, but throwing the football around, if it gets a little wet, you got a little wind, I mean, it could be a rough second half for Izard County if it really gets bad. And temperatures in the 30s as they are heading toward right now. Precipitation can change. So Izard County with a big second quarter as we talked about there, and we're looking now at some of this first half. Rector got things going as Henderson with a couple of touchdown runs in the first quarter. Rector on the board, and we're looking strong, but Izard County finds a way to come back, and 3 touchdown passes by Wyatt Buchanan, 2 to Malachi Cruz, 1 to Tyler Hill. You see that one there. It was all Izard County in the second quarter, and realistically, you mentioned that too. You talked about that. Going to that intermediate passing game may have made the difference. Yeah, because they're playmakers on the outside doing what they do. Look at these stats right here. So 215 passing yards for Izard County, only 18 for Rector so far. But in the rushing department, it's quite different, because Rector 149 rushing yards to the 26 for Izard County, 241 on total yardage, 167 for Rector, and only 1 sack in this ball game. And that's really impressive, because this defensive line for Rector has been after Buchanan throughout the entire game, and for them to only get one sack so far, that's pretty impressive. And you look at that number too, as Izard County with the advantage in total offense there. Realistically, a lot of those numbers, they came in the second quarter. It was not what Izard County did in the first quarter. Came up short, gave the ball up on 4 downs on the first 2 possessions. But the second quarter, the Cougars from Izard County came alive. Yeah, and you're right. And for the second half, if you talk about keys to the game for this second half, it's really because of the fact, you know, this defense for Rector's got to keep getting into the backfield and stopping Izard County. And not only they've done that on the run, but you've got to really start putting more pressure on Buchanan so he can't make those, you know, short passes and even the longer passes that we saw there in the second quarter. And then for Rector offensively, I mean, they've stayed to their game plan. They've run and they've run, and you really can't complain about anything they did offensively. For Izard County, though, you can't get off to that slow start like they did in that first half. They've got to come out with the same momentum that they had to close out this first half. And to Rector's credit, I mean, they've been successful on that offensive side, doing what they do, which is running the ball. And we see now the third quarter underway. Rector's going to get it now and head from left to right as we're looking here. And the offense was moving in late in the second quarter. It was just a turnover, and that really is the difference right there. The second turnover of the game, each team has one, and it came at a very unfortunate time for Rector there late in the second quarter, because this could easily have the score reversed and see Rector up by a touchdown. Yeah, you're exactly right, and I'll be interested to see, you know, how this offensive line readjust here in the second half, because they got such a good push there in the first half.
The give to Cox right away, and Cox is going to get the ball past midfield as Rector started on its own 49-yard line. A gain of about 3.5. We'll call it 4 on the play. 2nd and 6 now coming up for the Rector Cougars here in this state championship game. The second ever 8-man state championship game played here in War Memorial Stadium. Fantastic venue here in Little Rock. 2nd down, and it's going to be kept by Henderson. He will spin around just after he makes it past the 1st down and down at about the 40-yard line. So they move the chains, and Rector on the move in the early going here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. And once again, those interior linemen, the center, and really on the pulling side, guard, they're really getting a good job of getting that push and opening up a hole to get 4 or 5 yards at a time.
32 carries on the evening for Rector, 1 pass. And that one, by the way, didn't come from Henderson. It was a half-back pass by the senior running back, Jackson Hill. A give right up the middle, pickup of about 1 yard, but a little change of pace this time for the Cougars on 1st down.
Yeah, and trying to go a little bit faster and get to the line of scrimmage, get the ball off, and really try to catch Izard County off guard. I think we saw that earlier with Izard County on Rector when they kicked the onside kick and got it. And really right now, if you're Rector, you're just like, okay, let's go. Well, let's keep the ball going. Let's keep the momentum rolling as they've gotten into Izard County territory.
We mentioned Hill. That was his 3rd carry of the game. This time the give is to Cox. Little hesitation. Runs around to the outside, knocked out of bounds right at the 30-yard line, and I think that's enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, it's going to be really close. It's kind of hard to see. There's no real hash marks on those sidelines to be able to see where the sticks are. You kind of guesstimate it. We guesstimate it. The officials don't have to. But either way, it was a 1st down.
2 minutes into this possession here in the 3rd quarter, and continuing to move the ball on the ground. That's been the MO all night long. It will be so again. Henderson to the left, gets past 1, stays on his feet, cuts back to the middle of the field, has the 1st down, and is going to will his way forward for about 2.5 more yards.
That is a great run because, he could have easily just gone down after, a 5-6 yard pickup, but he just kept churning those feet, got out of one tackle, moved to the next, and as much work as he did right there, he ran for about 15 yards.
Well, from what we've seen from Henderson and Cox, too, and this entire Rector team, I mean, you go back to the work that's put in July and August in the weight room, it's really showing itself right now here in this big setting, the big stage of the state championship. 1st and 10 again from the 18 on the ground. Once again, Cox past the 15 down to about the 12-yard line.
One thing about 8-man football is, a lot of people go, well, why? Looks like they got guys on the sidelines. Why are they having to play 8-man football? And really it's because, oftentimes this may be a better year than the previous, and it allows for these kids to keep a program because I know there's a lot of programs that either had to forfeit or stop playing at the 11-man level because they just didn't have enough kids to play.
Exactly. The keep by Henderson goes to the left, cuts back to the middle once again, has an opening, spun around at about the 5-yard line. 1st and goal now for Rector. And to your point, I agree with that entirely. Some years are better than others for roster numbers. You can't say anything, you look and go, it's always going to be this way, big or small. It will never always be that way. And with both of these teams playing here in the state championship game, that's good for bringing folks out to play. That'll bring in the numbers too from those younger players. 1st and goal now for Rector here, down by 6. They haven't scored since the 1st quarter. Trying to do so here. Henderson behind a block by Hill, pushes his way in and is in for the score. Touchdown, Rector, tied up at 20-all.
That's what you call a convoy. He was able to get behind a couple of those big boys and just rode the tail all the way in and got in for the touchdown.
We talked about Hill being there lined up early on to go behind his block, but also Gage Thompson, Dalton Sanders in there for the blocks to score. Henderson, and the 2-point conversion attempt is on the way. This one tied at 20-all. Last time this Game was tied, was at 0-0. Rolling out, trying the pass, quick pass, incomplete. And that is the first pass attempt of the night. Not going to go down as such on the two-point conversion, but it's the first time we've seen Henderson throw the ball. And it's tied at 20 all. So we will take a break here. 8:19 remaining here in the third quarter. This is knotted up. State championship between Izard County and Rector. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
3, 2,
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
Rector took the ball to open the second half and just moved quickly down the field, steadily down the field. First down, first down, first down, touchdown. And this score is tied at 20 all. Drew Henderson with a 4-yard touchdown run. Took just a little bit less than 4 minutes off the clock to get that done. Talked about these two teams having won each of their semifinal games by, it was a 1-score game. Izard County by 6 on the last play of the game. Rector by 2. That one's tapped around, finally recovered by Izard County on the 40-yard line. That was dangerous.
Couldn't see who quite got the hand on the front line, but he got an assist because he batted it back to the backfield and was able to get that one down. But yeah, that was a little bit awkward coming up with the recovery for Izard County. It was Noah Stevenson, and so they'll have it from the 40-yard line.
I'd like to see the person at the stat computer trying to find the assist there.
Yeah, for a football game.
For a football game. Buchanan coming back out to lead the way. Wyatt Buchanan, 16 for 29 passing, 215 yards in the first half, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Steps back and he looks to his left, and Hill able to make the grab and stay in bounds. How did he do that?
It's literally tight walking the sidelines, and he pulled that one in, and it's a great catch. I mean, he was able to come up and make a fingertip grab. Look at this, boom, right there.
Just past Evan Holmes, and he stays in long enough to make the catch. And he had to work a little bit to control that and bring it in. Gets the 1 foot down in, the 2nd foot out. Fortunately, he's not playing on Sunday. So all he needed was the 1 foot in, and so Stevenson lining up on the line. He's eligible. Hill and Buchanan will roll out, decide to keep it, and he tight ropes just enough to get past midfield and able to move the chains. First down for Izard County now here, and they are in Rector territory.
Yeah, just stepped out of bounds at the 50, enough for the first down. And great coverage downfield by Rector. They are locked in tight to these receivers going man coverage downfield.
So first down now for Izard County. Buchanan, I talked about his passing. How about what he's done carrying the ball? 9 carries for 32 yards as well. A long of 21 a little bit earlier in the game. High snap there. Toss across the middle. High, deep. Stevenson can't quite bring it in. Incomplete, brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Stevenson just a touch out of his reach. Good throw by Buchanan that time, and it was just a little bit out of the way.
Just a bit, and he had gotten past his defender, but that pass just a little bit more in the middle there. You see there what the Cougars have been able to do receiving the ball. Stevenson's had 3 catches tonight. Cruz and Hill each with 7 catches and responsible for the points on the board as well. Cruz with 2 touchdown receptions, Hill with 1. 2nd and 10 now, and Buchanan steps up, tries to find Hill. That one's thrown out of bounds. And close to that line of scrimmage, you had to be careful there where he makes the throw and can't find Hill. Will bring up 3rd down.
I don't think you can talk enough about how good this defense has played, not just this drive, but throughout the ball game. I mean, these guys have been flying around, and yeah, they got burned a couple times, but they're just doing a good job of man-to-man defense. I think that really whenever this defense is broken down, it's when they've gone double coverage on the outside and left the middle of the field wide open.
Hill lined up wide. Cruz in a slot look here, and Buchanan looks for Cruz as he cuts back to the outside. Pass is too high. It'll be incomplete, and that brings up 4th down and 10. And you know the way the defense has played for Rector is, again, good coverage there. That pass was a little bit too high. If it had been back where Cruz was, possibly a reception right there. But I think for Rector, and you know what you're seeing right here, just make sure your offense is in the game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Make sure you do what you can to keep the offense out there. 4th down and 10 now. And they're going for it again. Izard County, Buchanan looking for Cruz. Right side, the catch is not made. In and out of his hands there, and it'll be turned over on downs. This is the 3rd time in this contest that Izard County has turned it over on downs.
Give Caden Avery every bit of credit right there. I mean, because that was a completed catch, and Avery comes up and just swats it away at the very end. He said, nope, not today.
Avery in coverage. Ian Hansen over there as well. And Rector now, near midfield, takes over 1st and 10. Henderson will keep it himself. Gap up the middle, able to go through there for 4 and maybe a little more. You know, one other thing to that point, RJ, is this. With Rector running the ball pretty much exclusively, I mean, again, just the one pass attempt tonight, pretty much exclusively. If their offense is in the game in the 4th quarter and it's a 1-score game, one way or the other, just keep running the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw the ball, have to try to make yardage up. The defense has done so well.
Yeah.
Cox makes his way past the 40 and a 1st down for Rector. Chains move once again. So quarter by quarter, we're seeing different teams take advantage of, I don't know, the weather is not really favoring, the wind's not favoring anyone one way or the other. It's picked up some, as Dorian mentioned, but it seems to be blowing in more of a cross breeze. This is a mindset as much as anything.
I tell you, I'm not a fan of the cold at all. I would not do well if I was having to play right now out in that. I just maybe it's my older age or what, but I just do not. When the temperature gets below about 50, I'm out. I'm gonna stay inside, curl up by the fire, and watch guys play football.
Well, we're enjoying being inside right now, but going on in the field, as we mentioned, the wind's picked up a little bit. It is chilly out there. 2nd and 8. And Henderson seems to be doing okay. The inside give now to Cox. Keeps moving and works his way past the 35 and down to about the 34. Initially hit there at about the 35 by Cruz, but he kept on moving.
Well, here after this play, I want to check in with Dorian. And it looks like that offensive line for Rector is getting just a really good push. And they've done it all game, but from a field level, I want to get her perspective of what that offensive line looks like for Rector, and maybe we can do that after this next play.
3rd and 5 now, and the give there is the reverse once again. Goes to Hill. Going to be hit and brought down. So the little trickery there, not successful this time, and he's brought down a gain of about 2, but it'll bring up 4th and 3. And Dorian, to that point, how's that line looking?
Head coach Dave Hendricks said that September 30th loss to Izard County was a wake-up call for Rector, and one of the biggest areas improvement over the last 5 weeks has been the play of the offensive line. Hendricks said that the offensive line is crucial for the way that the Cougars want to play their game. Right now, getting a big push, Cougars averaging over 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, she's exactly right. And they have done a great job tonight of just really protecting the quarterback and opening up running lanes.
Second pass attempt of the night is unsuccessful, incomplete, and this time Rector turns it over on downs. Izard County will get it back.
Yeah, and Shipley not happy with not coming up with that pass. And what a great pass, but right here, Shipley just, it looks like there was a hand on it by Izard County. I think putting a hand on it was Malachi Cruz.
And Cruz has been pretty much everywhere on both sides of the ball tonight. He's taken the snap, he's received the catch, he's played defense in coverage as well as making the tackles in the backfield. He's been everywhere tonight as Buchanan now. Quick little shovel pass inside to Cruz, and Cruz is going to lose about 3 or 4.
Did his knee ever get on the ground? Like, yeah, I mean, they held him up, and I don't. Maybe they blew it dead well before that, but I didn't see his knee ever hit the ground.
Well, they gave him a little bit of progress there, because when he was finally stopped, it was beyond that line. 2nd and 15 coming up now for Izard County. Buchanan stepping way back, and he's going to come on through this. Inside past the 30 and past the 35. He'll make up more than half of what he needed to pick up the first down. That's a little delayed intentional run by the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that was run all the way for Buchanan, and just to make up some of that yardage to make the third down a little bit more manageable. So you went from a 3rd and 15. We're able to pick up 10 yards on the play to make it a 3rd down and 6 now.
Buchanan with the keeper. Has Tyler Hill to his left. Lined up outside. Looking for Hill down the field. This is caught at the 30. Hill stays on his feet and brought down at the 22-yard line. Hill gets past the defender and is able to make the catch this time. That another successful long look down the field.
Yeah, Evan Holmes was in coverage and just got outrun. Hill just outran him and was able to get separation to make the catch.
And there's been a difference tonight in coverage, by the way, on these two receivers. Cruz has seen a lot of double coverage tonight. Hill has seen single coverage most of the evening. 1st and 10 now. Ball at the 22. Izard County looking for Cruz. Up for grabs, and Cruz says, "This one's mine." Wow. Touchdown, Izard County.
I mean, he just went up there and took it away from the defender, Caden Avery. He went up there, snatched that thing away, and extends this lead for Izard County. Wow. He is a playmaker, isn't he? I mean, he does everything. Offensively, defensively, the kid is really good.
22-yard touchdown reception for Cruz. And that is his 3rd touchdown catch of the night. Get a chance to look at it again here. Buchanan throws it pretty quickly. And back and forth, Holmes had a chance, but Cruz took it away. And that's what he did in that semifinal game in the final play of the game last week. Going for 2, quickly throwing to Cruz again, goes up, and he makes the catch. He comes down with it. He went up for that one and brought it down safely. 28-20, Izard County on top by 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's... we keep feeding the beast, right? I mean, he's doing everything for you, and you might as well feed it to him, especially if he's in single coverage on the outside.
2-point conversion successful. Izard County up by 8. We'll take a break. Just under 4 minutes remaining here, as we will go ahead and keep it right here in War Memorial Stadium. Again, just under 4 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, hey, let's go back down to Dorian real quick. And the mystery of the neck roll hoodie that I've been talking about the entire game, I think Dorian's come down. She went under investigation to find out what's going on. Dorian, what'd you find?
I changed up being a sideline reporter for an investigative reporter, RJ. Yeah. I was standing down here as in the end zone as Malachi Cruz caught the touchdown. I can confirm that it is, in fact, a hoodie.
No.
It is not a neck roll. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Dang it. Thank you, Dorian. I mean, God, I could have seen. If I was if I would have had to make a bet on if I need to go out there on the field and take Dorian's job and stand in the cold, and I would have lost because I was thinking it was a neck hoodie.
There's the kick.
Or neck roll, excuse me.
That is going to roll. They're going to down that at the 1. That did not make it into the end zone, and that could be a big miscue for Rector.
Well, the official came and he was flapping his arm like he got in the end zone, but I didn't think he ever got in.
No.
See what the official says. Can't quite hear what he had to say. But he was, I think he's having issues. But
okay, it may have actually gone into the end zone, but if it did, it was just by a bit because it was downed at the 1. It rolled back. If it got into the end zone, it just barely made it in.
I don't know if we've got a replay of that or not, but I mean, he was flapping his arm around, and Izard County's going, hey, wait a minute, what's going on?
Now, Rector's going to go ahead and quickly snap the ball, and for the first time tonight, or at least in a while, Henderson got under center. They had to snap that ball quickly, and this is going to be stopped so they can look at this once again. That rolls, and
it may have touched, right?
Oh, I don't know. I thought there was still green. It may have, but it was just a little bit. We get a chance to see it from another angle here, and it is...
it may have touched right there. I mean,
just a bit. That last bounce.
The official's right there on, and you see him right there immediately come up, and when the nose of the football touches. And we've got instant replay in the state championship games. The instant replay booth is just right down the way, and so if a coach wants to challenge this thing, or it can also be taken from the booth. So the booth can, much like college football, if there is something that needs to be looked at, they can send it down from the booth and start looking over it. But it's hard. It's got to be a clear-cut view, and I just don't know. I think that back end zone camera that we saw just a moment ago, you might be able to tell a little bit better. See, it's right there, and that's that last bounce just a moment ago. I think that's where you would say that it touched, but I don't know if there's enough evidence on the two looks to say whether or not that it's going to be overturned. You'd almost need like an inline camera in order to determine that.
Well, and let's look at it then from the player's perspective here. Cox lets it go, thinking it's going to go ahead and go on into the end zone. Now as it slows down and it starts to make that turn back to the left, the Rector players realize we've got to get on this because Izard County can come down. This is a kick. It's not a punt. It's a kick. And Izard County, the Cougars wearing the black jerseys, are getting down there quickly.
The ruling on the field of the touchback stands.
So the call stands. And notice the wording there. It was not confirmed, but it stands. So not, as you mentioned, that overwhelming evidence.
Izard County
take it to
will
the
be
other
charged
side.
a timeout, and they have no challenges left on the field.
So Izard County challenged it. They don't have any left. And yeah, I mean, Steve Roberts, who's with the AAA, he's standing on what would be the normal 11-on-11 goal line, and he was just kind of eyeing down there to see exactly what might have happened.
Rector, Cox going forward for about 4 yards. Well, RJ, I think if you're going to make a challenge at any point in time, I don't think that was necessarily a bad challenge, even though Izard County does lose it. And they don't have another one coming up in this contest with a player down right now. I don't think it was a bad challenge. And Buchanan is going to get up slowly, and he's going to walk off. He's one of those players that plays on both sides of the ball. Obviously, if there's a one side or the other, if you have to choose for Buchanan, you want him to be playing offense tonight. So he'll take a seat for just a moment. They're going to look at him, check him out. In the meantime, 2nd and 6 now on the way for Rector. Quick snap as Henderson will push forward to about the 29-yard line, not quite the first down there. Again, Rector keeping the ball, 45th rushing attempt of the evening. Rector on the night has crossed the 200-yard mark in rushing. 45 carries, 227 yards on the ground. 3rd and short now. And Henderson will keep it, pick up the first down. He stopped. Gains about 3 on the play. They'll move the sticks right now, and it'll be another first down for Henderson. I don't know, Dorian, you may have had an opportunity to see what was going on with Buchanan on the sideline there.
I'm standing directly behind quarterback Wyatt Buchanan right now, and he's been pointing to his calves, trying to stretch them out here on the sideline, going from left to right, doing some jumping exercises, trying to get in some fluids. Don't want to speculate, but it doesn't look to be too serious as he already has his helmet back on and is headed towards the sideline.
All right, thank you, Dorian. Doesn't get in on this play. In the meantime, Cox continues to run to his left, cuts back to the middle of the field. Won't quite make it to the 40, but a nice gain on first down for Rector. Third quarter has had a fairly quick pace to it. And RJ, as you mentioned, I mean, it would go even faster if it was all Rector all the time, the way they keep the ball on the ground. Nearing the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. Rector playing from behind now, down 8. Henderson fakes the give. He'll keep it past the 45, slung down at the 47, and another first down for Rector.
Oh, he sees the field so well, just to jump into the hole and then, you know, juke, jive, get back and forth to get back on the field. And, I mean, just really elusive of a football player. I mean, look, puts a right foot in and boom, bounces off one and keeps going.
All barefoot.
All with just one shoe on.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, the adjusting the accoutrements there as Henderson now will go up under center. Don't see that very often. It's the second time he's done that tonight. The other time was when they were trying to get the play off quickly a while ago before the challenge was called. And a gain of only 1 on the play. We talked about the ground attack for Rector, 246 yards rushing. It's just a dichotomy tonight between these two teams. Passing attack for Izard County, 279 yards through the air. I mean, it's just 2 different plans of attack tonight, and another first down gained by that Rector rushing game.
Yeah, and another good run right there. And you know, they're just big play after big play for Rector. And, you know, we saw, I talked about this in the pregame, you know, the first time these two teams played, it was a close ball game between the two of them. And I think we're starting to see that same type of ball game in this one.
Well, you know, part of the reason I think that Izard County had a bigger win, and we heard this in speaking with the coaches, they had some injuries early on, and they started to get some of those players back, and Izard County a bigger margin of victory in the second game. Flag's going to go down here. This one may come back. If it were to stand, it'd be a 9-yard pickup, but I think it's going to come back.
Offense, 10 yards from the spot, first down.
So that's unfortunate because they finally got a good pass play.
Exactly.
you know, Rector finally gets a good pass play, and then he gets caught with the hold.
Caden Avery, the receiver there. So that one won't go down in the books, unfortunately.
He's like, man, I got to get as many as I can. Like,
a little more than a minute remaining here in the third quarter as 1st and 10 becomes 1st and about 18 now. Henderson give inside to Cox. Gets past 1, and he'll be slowed up past the 45. A gain of about 4 on the play.
Cox, boy, he's much like we talk about with Cruz on the other side of the football. he's a player, man. He's every time he touches the football, you expect big things out of him.
As the clock is ticking away here in the third quarter, this becomes a very big possession now for Rector because you want to get points here. You don't want to find yourself in a position to be down 2 scores if you are going to continue with this running game as they do. Hill looked like he was going to try to throw it after the reverse. Instead, he's going to keep it, runs forward past the 35 to about the 33. It's not going to be enough for the first down. The clock will continue to run now, and the third quarter is waning. Izard County, the 28-20 lead now, and 1 quarter remains in this state championship game. Rector trying to find a way to stay within 1 score. We'll talk about this and see what happens more on the way. You're watching for the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season. With our busy lives today, we often forget the greatest gift of Christmas. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. I hope all of us will take the time and share the love of Christ this season. May your holidays be filled with joy and blessings. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Everett.
You know, I think athletics are really important for young people. It teaches you to not only trust others, but to help others when they need a pick-me-up. And I think high school athletics do a great job of saying, hey, I can lead you, I can show you how to do something, or I can follow your example. I'm Bobby Swafford-Knight asked that you think about giving to Arkansas PBS.
Well, it's been a busy night tonight for one team and then the other. Rector getting on the board early with 2 touchdown carries by Drew Henderson. And then it was Izard County countering with a passing attack. Buchanan with 3 more touchdown passes in the second quarter. This game was tied up in the third at 20 all. And that long pass there to Hill sets up a touchdown for Izard County. Cruz working, and finally wills his way in. The 2-point conversion is successful a little bit later. There's the catch that extends the lead for Izard County, 28-20. And Izard County with the advantage right now, but Rector on the move, wanting to get back in this one. And that carry on third down will pick up the first down. That's enough to move the chains. Nice run that time by Henderson. He's been responsible for the scores in this one. He's responsible for moving the chains right now. And as we were talking about just before the break, as time is now at a premium, Rector needs to put points on the board and stay in this ballgame.
No, you're exactly right. And you know, one thing that Rector's done really well is a lot of misdirection in this game. Just trying to, you know, sleight of hand to figure out where the football is.
This time the give is to Cox, and he picks up 3. And Henderson has done a very good job with that. And not only has he been elusive when he's carried it, but also, I mean, he's been able to hang on to it till the last moment, make you think it's going to Cox, keeper itself. A little option, look, and then picks up some more yards. They've also done a good job in mixing things up, not just exclusively going to one side of the field. Lots of back and forth. Henderson keeps it himself this time, and he is met at the line of scrimmage, and Jesse Warden able to be there for the tackle.
That defensive line, nice job by Warden to come in and really just stop the ball carrier. And the one thing that Rector's not, you know, running between what, you know, you're essentially your guards and trying to find a good running lane's not really been their MO tonight. It's been every time they get outside the tackles to run upfield.
studded there as you mentioned that. Not wanting to go between the guards. Little stop there, fools the defense, and Cox able to get to the outside. He picks up 5 more.
And it's all about getting in open space and allowing your guys to make plays. That's really what it comes down to. They've got, both these teams have a lot of playmakers to be able to, once they get the ball, to do something with it. And they just got to be able to get outside with it. You can't really make a whole lot of plays when you're bumping into one another right up the middle.
We've seen some 4th down opportunities tonight, but this one may be the biggest one of the night. 4th and 1. Henderson, the keeper. He needs 2. He gets 3. First down for Rector.
Yeah, that's a great job. I mean, second effort. And really, the biggest thing about that, Joey, is it's going to continue to keep that clock rolling. And you know, I know Rector's down by 8 right now, but you know, the more you're rolling that clock right now, it's an advantage to you, because you know that Izard County offense, if you tie this thing up, they're going to be able to stop they're throwing it every play, so they're going to continue to stop that clock.
They have scored 3 touchdowns, been successful on the 2-point conversion just once. Right now, they need to be concerned about crossing the goal line the first time. There's the give to Cox, and he's met at the line. He's able to pick up maybe a half yard, not much more than that. Yeah, we haven't seen the run game that much from Izard County tonight. 14 carries on the night. Still, it's a little bit more of a variety from what we've seen, though, on the other side of the ball. Rector has just been exclusively rushing tonight. Clock is moving, though.
I want to go down to Dorian here in just a moment. You're watching the officials wipe all the footballs off. Dorian, is there a mist in the air right now?
No, RJ, there's not a mist in the air. We've had some vomit down on the field. It's been an issue throughout the game, but that's just an indication both teams are playing hard.
Oh. You know, Dorian, I tell you what, she's awesome. I mean, she tried to say that really, just really eloquently. Yeah. So here, nope, there's no mist in the air. Not at all. Oh.
Well, and again, props to you, Dorian, because I don't know that, you made it sound eloquent.
Yeah, she said it way better than I could have done it.
Yes.
Offside, defense, at distance, take it down.
So they move the ball 5 yards from the 12 down to the 7 on the offsides, Izard County. And now Rector with an opportunity here, 2nd down, and can pick up a first down without scoring, too. That's a really good place on the field to be for the offense. Henderson, keep it behind a block by Cox. No, he decides to go right back up the middle and gets down to the 4. Just lowered his head and picked up another yard. Each team's been penalized 4 times in this contest. It's been relatively penalty-free.
Yeah.
It's balanced. 3rd and about 2, maybe 1, just inside the 4-yard line. One receiver wide, but Henderson's going to keep it and work his way in for the score. From 4 yards out, Drew Henderson with his 4th touchdown carry of the night.
Yeah, that was just hard-nosed football. Kept it himself and takes it straight up the gut and got the easy touchdown. So now here's the big play. You got to get the 2-point conversion to tie it up.
Henderson with 14 touchdown carries on the year coming into tonight, has 4 tonight alone. We talked about a big 4th down, and that was now the big 2-point conversion. Evan Holmes lined up wide outside, and before anything gets underway, Rector will call a timeout.
And I think that's a great idea.
That's the first time out of the half.
This is a big time snap. You know, it's kind of crazy to say with 8:25 left in the game. You know, but with that being said, you know, there's not a whole lot of possessions left for Rector, and so you want to be able to get this thing right and tie it up.
Exactly right. Don't want to take any chances here Again, Rector successful on 1 2-point conversion attempt out of 3 prior to this one. And if it weren't successful, I mean, down 2 right now, Izard County, if it goes down the field, gets a 2-point conversion as well. That becomes a 2-possession game. And so this is very, very big here. You want to get it right.
Yeah, no, and you know, the counter tray has worked quite a bit, you know, throughout this game, and you know, be able to set that edge has worked, and we'll see. I mean, I'll be interested to see what kind of formation they line up for this 2-point conversion.
Drew Henderson with that touchdown run, 33 carries tonight, 150 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he'd like to get 2 more points right here. Henderson, Cox in the backfield. The give is to Cox, and met in the backfield, wrapped up right there. Wow. That is a huge tackle by Tyler Hill.
Yeah, and he was pretty much untouched off that corner and was able to make the tackle.
2-point conversion, no good. It is a 2-point contest in the state championship. Izard County up by 2 here as you are watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it. At Big Red Stores, we're always proud to sponsor, support, and partner up with many events and activities throughout the community. Among them, high school championships throughout the state of Arkansas. At Big Red Stores, our team members are always ready to assist you to make your visit with us a pleasant one. And at Big Red Stores, we recognize that none of our support or ability to serve the community is possible without you. That's why at Big Red Stores, you're always the MVP of the Big Red team. Big Red Stores, now more convenient than ever.
Since 1999, we've been with you every step of the way. From your first savings account, to graduation, to your first home. Centennial Bank is here to walk with you into the future. Though we've grown, Arkansas is still our home. We're still local bankers invested in our communities, here to help you however we can. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We'll be here when you need us. Centennial Bank, member FDIC.
1, beauty, go.
Hey, get a copy of today's game by checking out my friends over at M&M. They got the DVD copy. For those of you that still have a DVD player, you can get a copy of the state championship game. Go to mnmproductions.net to place your order today.
Digital copies are an option too.
Digital copies are an option as well. I mean, so if you are old school and you keep the DVD player and you want to go with that route, you can do that, or you can just go and say, I want digital.
I have 4 daughters, and my youngest daughter really likes her DVD player. So I'm just saying.
Hey, look, they're bringing back the
physical copy.
Yeah,
physical copy.
Vinyl's coming back. That's what they say.
Rector, little pooch kick, couple of bounces, and it's fielded. Fielded by Izard County. That's Jesse Warden that grabs the ball, and he's going to be wrapped up, brought down there, but the big thing really for Warden was just to hang on to the ball. He does that, and so now the Izard County Cougars with a 2-point lead here and the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and that 2-point lead is, like you said just a moment ago before the break, you get a score here. Now it's a 2-score game, and you're running out of time with an offense that primarily runs the football.
The thing here for Rector is to really stay tough on defenses, especially in this coverage, because incomplete passes can stop the clock. And we know it's going to be a passing attack, and we see that again. Buchanan over the middle looking for Cruz, has him open, and coming through at the last moment there to make this, or excuse me, to knock that away is Caden Avery.
Yeah, and that just went right through his hands. He had a shot at it, and it just rolled out. But look, you can't fault him. He's made every big play tonight for this Izard County team.
Yes, and but that was great defense by Avery too. Avery was there, and of course now, as we just mentioned, now an incomplete pass stops the clock, which works to Rector's favor. You want to get the ball back, one more possession, and hopefully for the Rector Cougars, you're thinking, let's not be down any more than 2. 2nd down and 10. Stevenson over to the right side now. Buchanan looking to his right, flushed out, goes to his left, keeps the ball, and he'll run out. Gain of about 2, maybe 3. We'll call it 2. 2nd and 8 on the way. Boy, and that's big on defense. Back-to-back big plays by that Rector D, especially getting into the backfield as Buchanan really had nowhere to go. Nice coverage downfield, flushed out, and they were able to push him out of bounds.
Well, and if you're this defense, you know that it's going to be 4-down territory for Izard County. They're not going to punt. So, I mean, if you get a stop here, you got to set in for one more.
Everyone to the right again. 3 receivers to that right side. Buchanan looking that way, has time, throws, up for grabs. Cruz, of course, makes the grab.
Joey, that time for Rector, they were setting up. Whenever you go and you're in a softball game and they just pipe one down the middle and it looks like a beach ball. For that time, for Rector's Caden Avery, he was setting up for an interception. He saw it coming. He did not pay any attention whatsoever to where Cruz was, and he was trying to box him out. Didn't work, and Cruz was able to make the catch. Great job by Cruz.
Comes back and makes the catch. Another big catch for Malachi Cruz. He's in double figures now in that category to go with 3 touchdowns. 1st down and 10 from the 33. Stevenson on the carry, past the 30, and down near the 25, and a flag comes in late. Play looked like it was pretty much done, and the flag is an underhand toss on that flag. I don't see that very often.
No.
Usually it's, they throw it, try to find a spot, and that's just a little underhand toss.
I was like, I'll throw this one out here. Hey, while they talk about that, let's go down to Dorian real quick. Dorian's got a history of Izard County championships.
This may be Izard County's first football state championship appearance, but the Cougars are not without a significant athletic history. The baseball program has historically been good, and in 2019, the boys basketball team went 39-6 and won the 1A state championship over Nevada. Head coach Jaron Johnson said that the football team is taking a page out of those books and really applying it here tonight as an indication that Izard County is capable of winning state titles.
After personal foul, targeting, defense, 15-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Targeting penalty. Thanks, Dorian. And she's right. I've got to see some of those Izard County teams in the basketball championships, and they have been really impressive with the senior leadership that they've had. 13 seniors on that Izard County team, and now you've got a targeting penalty right here to really give them great field position with 7:33 left here in the 4th quarter.
It came in after the fact, 15 yards marked off. And one of the thing about this that is, to what Dorian said too, I mean, they've made it to that big stage before, but never in football. And part of the reason for that, this is the first year for the football program.
Yeah. I mean,
what an impressive run in your first season.
It really is. I mean, baseball, they're good. Basketball, they're good.
They figured, why not field a football team? We'll be good at that too. And sure enough, they have been.
Up next, pickleball.
1st and 10, just outside the 10-yard line. Buchanan looking to his right. The throw a little bit low, but Cruz is there to make the grab, but no gain on the play.
Yeah, scoop that one off the turf.
That one's going to look good from the statistical standpoint of it was a catch, but for no gain. Clock moves, though, with the completed pass. The Rector defense needs a stop here.
And now if you're Izard County, you're not in any hurry. Like, that whole offense of, throwing it around, just take as much time off that play clock as possible.
And that's exactly what they are doing right now. Play clock is down to 2 when the snap is made. And a keeper by Buchanan right into the middle of the field. A gain of about 2, maybe 3. And it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and you got to think this defense that you're going to tighten in on the inside, but those linebackers are going to play up because You know, if they're going to throw it, they like throwing it to the back corners of those end zones. They like to throw that little fade route to Cruz. And so you don't want the quarterback to take off and run and get an easy touchdown on you.
Receivers to either side, single coverage, and Buchanan's looking for Cruz. He goes up. He makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. So the pass was just a little bit beyond where it needed to be. Cruz makes the catch over Avery, but he was out of bounds, and it is 4th down now for Izard County.
But once again, went with that fade route just to the back corner of the end zone, and wasn't successful that time. He's done really good trying to find that area. Once again, not your traditional sideline here at War Memorial. They've painted the sideline on. You'll have to wash that thing off later, but trying to find out where you are on the field, often it can be a little challenging.
And when you saw that setup, by the way, probably everyone in the stadium knew that's where he was going. Play clock down to 5 now. Izard County trying to get set on 4th down. 2 receivers to the right. Buchanan steps back, looks to his right, looking for Cruz again. This one's high, batted down. And Cox there to knock that one down. Rector will get this one back as Izard County turns it over on downs.
Great defensive stand by Rector that time. Now, they're going to have to go a long way to score, but at least they've got the opportunity not down 2 scores.
That's exactly right. More than 90 yards they'll have to pick up. Looks like as the ball spotted in between the 7 and 8. We'll say about 92 yards to pick up. 5 minutes and 57 seconds remain on the clock. State championship game here in 2022. Rector and Izard County, both Cougars, and the give is to Cox. Spins around, out of one, tackle past the 15 and up to the 16-yard line.
And you don't have to be in a hurry right here, but you got to be in a little bit more of a pick-me-up pace. I mean, you're at 5:38 and counting, and you're here in the ball game, and you got to go a ways. You've got 70-plus yards to get down the field, and as a primary running team, you might want to just kick it into second gear.
Well, as Dorian mentioned just a moment ago, it's about 5 yards a carry for Rector right now, and Henderson won't meet that average, and he won't pick up the first down either. And the math there says that you're going to have to use the clock a little more judiciously if you're going to get all the way in for the score at that pace.
But right now, Rector's they're not in any big hurry. They're just trying to get that 1 yard right now.
At this point, yeah, you have to pick up the first down, and it's going to be close.
I think he may have gotten it, but you're right. I mean, it didn't get very far. Cruz came in to lay the hit, and now they're going to say 4th down. No, they're going to measure it.
Yeah, they're going to measure this. Well, and RJ, to that point then, not at a point where you have to throw the ball yet, but you're going to have to break one.
Yeah.
5 yards per carry just won't get it done at the pace the clock is moving.
Well, you would think that they would just have a little bit more pep in their step. I don't know. You would think with the clock and the amount of field you got to go, you just get a little bit more in a hurry. And how about this? You got an inch and a half to get a first down.
Well, the clock stopped momentarily to get the chains out there, and now, again, it's like the previous play. You need to be concerned enough about picking up the first down as opposed to picking up a lot of yardage here.
Yeah. You don't get this, you don't have to worry about it.
The clock should start back up here in just a moment. Rector with 310 yards rushing tonight.
Here we go.
Play clock starts. First down and more. The clock stops long enough to move the chains now, and now the Rector offense maybe can breathe in a little bit more deeply, get back out, call the plays it wants to. Enough time to make something happen, needing a big play here or there.
Well, I tell you what, Jesse Warden that time, he took on 3 guys, and he didn't win that battle.
Cruz comes through the middle and wraps up Cox in the backfield. Wow, he timed that perfectly. Malachi Cruz with a huge defensive play.
Yeah, that was a great job. Just going untouched. He was back. He almost could have taken that handoff.
Exactly. Clock moving now, and Rector needs to get a play in. Trailing by 2 here in the state championship. Henderson takes it deep. The throw, catch is made. It's not going to be enough for a first down. And did he get run out of bounds? He did. That'll stop the clock. That is a big, big factor right here. And the catch by Shipley.
Yeah, and so it gets you back to the original marker. So you've got 3rd down and, what are they going to say, 9? It's more manageable than 3rd and 14.
And still four down territory as well. Big opportunity now for Rector, and this Izard County defense has stepped up here in the second half. Nowhere to go with it for Henderson. He runs back, the pass back to Cox. He's met at the 26 soundly, and it'll bring up 4th down.
So this is a big play. I mean, not saying that it's going to close out the game for you if you don't get it, but the odds are highly not in your favor if you don't get this 4th down.
Henderson now 2 for 3 passing for the evening. It was a big pass, but 4th down. 2nd, 4th down here in this possession, and a timeout is called by Rector. It's their 2nd timeout here, and Coach Hendricks wants to talk this one over a little bit and completely understand that. Looking over on the sidelines, both these teams slowing things down. We were just talking about the defense for Izard County, and that it really has stepped up here in the second half.
It really has. And you know, this game started with a 14-0 lead for Rector, and the defense has gotten a whole lot better. Malachi Cruz, 11 receptions, by the way, 117 yards, 3 touchdowns. On defense, he's had 22 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 pass breakup. That was just passed us from Troy Mitchell from the SID department here at the stadium. How about that?
That's an amazing number.
22 tackles.
And just to go to total plays here, 128 total plays here, and we know that Cruz has been a factor in at least 33 with those 11 receptions and 22 tackles. That's a quarter of the game has been Malachi Cruz. Dominated. 4th down. Here's Henderson. The pass to his right. Screen pass, catches made by Avery, and he is ridden out of bounds. And this will be a turnover on downs. Izard County will get this back.
I feel like they kind of got away from what they've been good at. And they felt, you know, to me, and they did really good with a double reverse or a double handoff, or trying to go counter tray on the outside. It just almost feels to me like they kind of got away from that and panicked a little bit to have to throw on 3rd and 4th down.
One throw, the 3rd down, I think that was the 2nd or 3rd option. This clearly on 4th down, that was the first option. Trying to mix things up a little bit. Izard County gets it back. A 2-point advantage with 3:20 on the clock. And Buchanan looks to his right, goes back across the middle. The catch is made by Cruz there on the 24. And the completed pass will keep the clock moving.
I mean, if you're Izard County, why are you throwing it? Well, I mean, why not just keep running, not tempting the opportunity to stop the clock?
Well, at this point, you may dance with the one that brought you.
Well, and that's kind of going back to the point for Rector. Like, you've done all this to where you just ran there and have been so successful, but then they started throwing it.
Buchanan. That's Stevenson in the backfield. Instead, he's going to look down the field for Cruz, and Avery is there. This time, Cruz can't get the up for grabs jump ball. Avery with a great job on defense. It stops the clock, too, to your point, RJ.
Yeah, it's just run the football. Man, more time. Look, 2:33, and they get the ball back. Got a shot. Minute left. Don't have much of a shot. I mean, right? If you, I do a whole lot of that. When you're looking at your fantasy football team and you see the projections on chances that you got to win. You look at the percentage, and the percentage is high if Rector only has about a minute left to play.
Buchanan looking for Cruz again. The catch is made this time at the 5 and in for the score. Touchdown, Izard County.
And this is why I don't coach, because, he comes back with a pass play, scores, and now it's a two-score game with 2:26.
Not yet. Still just an 8-point advantage. And they're going to go for 2 here. Potentially the 2-score advantage. So Izard County, the Cougars.
And look who it is. Malachi Cruz. The guy is all over the place.
Wow. 4 touchdown receptions. 13th catch of the night to go with 22 tackles. Amazing numbers. And Buchanan in now as they're going for 2. Buchanan looking for Cruz. He's open in the middle of the field. Catch is made. 2-point conversion. Good. And Izard County up by 10. May have just locked this state championship up.
You gotta tip your hat to Cruz, boy. He's everywhere. And they haven't been able to guard him all night.
And you see him line up in the slot there, and he just slipped right through. Nobody caught him there. Nobody there to block, and he was wide open in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he is a gamer, and it's been fun to watch. So now 2:26 left. It's a 10-point game, and if you're Rector, you gotta get down the field.
And you hope it's one of those kicks that's right up there in the middle of the field. Doubt it would be that way this time. Likely to kick it down the field and see what Cox can do there. But you have to know that Cox is going to be ready for it this time and doesn't want to allow anything to go over his head. He needs to take the ball and see if he can make something happen on the kickoff return opportunity. 10-point advantage now for Izard County. And what a story for the Cougars to, in their first season of football, make it all the way to the state championship game and have an opportunity with just more than 2 minutes remaining to take a title back to ICC. This one deep. Cox will watch this one go into the end zone. And it's not going to just roll around there near the goal line as it did last time, though. He was prepared.
Yeah, he was like, we're not going to do that again.
Well, and he's dangerous anyway.
Yeah.
I think he would be one of those, if you had a chance for a return, he could make something happen. As it stands now, the running game for Rector has been sidelined just a little bit in that last possession. Really need to make something happen here. Not much time with which to work.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do just to try to move the football down the field. For Rector, David Hendricks, he's an alumni of Rector. He was looking forward to try to win a state championship. I'll go hook and ladder.
Hook and ladder. Nice catch, by the way, by Avery to get that started. The pitch back to, and more of almost a little shovel pass, two-handed pass back to Cox in motion. A little trickery. 14-yard gain, and the big thing here is that Cox went out of bounds. Watch this again. Great grab by Avery, but just a little two-hand shove back to Cox.
Well, I think that's why they did it, though, was because he was more, he was 5-6 yards from the sideline, and you get it back to somebody that's headed towards the sideline and stop the clock.
And it might not be the last time in this game they use a play that looks like that. Henderson again throws back over his body, finds Cox there, 35, trying to work his way outside. Slowed down and tackled at the 44. Not enough for the first down, and the clock continues to run. Rector has 1 timeout remaining.
You know, I was just looking at some defensive notes for Izard County for Cruz, for Malachi Cruz. He came into the game with 69 total tackles.
Yeah.
He's had 22 tonight.
It's nearly a third of his season right there, and he may pick up that 23rd, which would be a third of his season here on this possession. First down for Rector as they move past midfield. Clock stopped to move the chains.
I mean, you saw that. He kind of does everything. He's over in the offensive huddle getting a mouthpiece back to the offensive lineman. Hey, man, you dropped this. Good kid.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of like Santa Claus, but Santa Claus, I think, tonight for Izard County fans, wearing a black and white jersey.
Illegal motion.
Izard County football players are trying to gift their town and their team and their county a state championship. Moving on the line, this one's walked back 5. Henderson, pump fake. Now he's going to keep it. Runs into his own player behind the line. And I'm going to say it's a loss of 1 there. Clock continuing to move now. An unfortunate occurrence for Rector, and they're going to call their final time out here of the contest. Trailing by 10 with just more than a minute remaining.
Yeah, I had to get it stopped somehow, and so now with a minute 16, you're draw something up to work it downfield. You gotta go with some vertical passing at this point, because it's either that or you're going to work a lot of sideline routes.
Well, in Henderson's numbers then, I mean, if you look at this number as a number, RJ, 5 for 6 passing, 33 yards, 83% completion rate. You look at that early in the game, that's not a bad number. Yeah. But this is something that's deceiving, because the passing game has just really been instituted for Rector within the last 3 minutes of the ball game.
Yeah, and that's why we were talking about how big it was to try to get a stop against this Izard County team, because going down by 2 scores is tough.
2nd and long. Henderson back, throws to the right, and this one's picked off at the 39-yard line. Izard County past midfield, and Tyler Hill gets a reception on the defensive side of the ball to go with what he's done on the offensive side, and Izard County is trying to wrap up its first state championship in football.
Well, now that Rector doesn't have any timeouts, they can go out here and take a knee and pretty much wrap this thing up and claim a state title, because, boy, they did, I mean, everything right. Offensively, really, if you think about it, for Izard County, the only real downfall for them for this game was that first quarter. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was only a half of the quarter, because they really started clicking towards the second half of the quarter, but that was really their only bad quarter.
Yeah, didn't get the score until the second quarter came around, but they were moving down the field, and that's exactly what is going to happen. Buchanan is excited. He's going to have to snap it one more time. He's ready to celebrate now.
He wanted to be under the Gatorade bath.
Izard County team in its first year, 8-2 coming in. With a victory tonight, will be at 9-2 on the year. Started off 1-2, and then won 7 consecutive games heading into the state championship. Going to add an 8th to that win streak to close out the season, and you always want to have a win as your last game of the year. Buchanan takes the snap and the knee, and the clock will wind down here in War Memorial Stadium, and the celebration begins not only here, but I'm sure back at home in Izard County as well.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's back home, anyways, I would imagine a lot of the folks are right here, or they're watching at home. But yeah, it's good to see first-time champions in a sport. And give it up to Rector though. Third, playing a team we talked about, third time's a charm's always hard, and they played a heck of a ball game.
Well, they sure did, and really came out on fire. We talked about the defense tonight for the Rector Cougars, and what an effort that it had, what an effort it put forward. And to also go with something you mentioned, Izard County had a rough first quarter. Yeah. That wasn't because they just didn't play well. It was because of the Rector defense. Right. Let's take a break, and we'll come back, talk a little bit more about this championship for Izard County, and talk to some folks down there on the field. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Broadcast of this championship game is made possible by
the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Local broadcast of Arkansas PBS programming is made possible in part by Community Bakery. Scratch-made breads, pastries, cakes, treats, and locally roasted coffees. Served daily at 2 locations in Little Rock, 1200 Main and 270 Shackelford.
36-26, the final. Izard County champions in 2022 in 8-man football in Arkansas. Congratulations to the Cougars. What a great game tonight.
Yeah, it really was. And both these teams just left it all on the line tonight. And this is what you like to see, especially, first-time champion in a sport. And while they're waiting to get their trophy, the runner-up trophy is being passed out right now. Let's go ahead and go over some quick stats for you in this game. Total offense for both teams. Rector had 75 plays for 368 yards. Izard County 64 plays for 384 yards. Passing, Izard County 24 of 45 passing. And you can see the numbers right here. First downs 24-20 in favor of Rector. I mean, Rector really dominated a lot of these numbers. It was 331 yards of total passing yards for Izard County in this one. And individual numbers for Izard County, it was Wyatt Buchanan, 24 of 45, 335, and 5 touchdowns in this one. And then your leading receiver, of course, was Malachi Cruz, 13 receptions, 144 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But Tyler Hill, he didn't have a bad game. 8 receptions for 159 and a touchdown.
And the game-sealing interception as well.
So they are bringing Izard County over to get the hardware and everything, as well as we'll be naming the MVP of this game. Do you want to go ahead and take a guess who the MVP might be?
I would imagine it would be somebody who factored into, at least a quarter of the plays, getting his name in the stats there.
That's right. And here comes the runner-up trophy right now for Rector, as they're going to take that over there. Don't forget, following the trophy presentation, Dorian's going to catch up with the head coach for Izard County. That's Jared Johnson, as well as the MVP. We won't quite announce it yet. We'll let them announce it. But now Izard County's going to get that trophy.
I would take a guess at that. So I think if you've been watching this game tonight, it might be obvious to you. But look at them all out there on the field enjoying celebration here in War Memorial Stadium. And again, the name itself, just getting to play on this field is an honor, and getting to hold that trophy up like that, that's a memory that will be there. And of course, also for Rector too. You mentioned that's a trophy that goes back and stays. You got to play on this field tonight. You were a part of a team that made it to a state championship appearance. An incredible effort tonight by Rector, and both sides of the ball too. It was a big deal. You saw one of the stats there that you didn't mention. You just mentioned that Rector had dominated a lot of the statistics. How about time of possession?
Yeah.
I mean, they took care of business when they needed to. Unfortunately, it just didn't manifest in points in the second half like it could have, but that they did what they were supposed to do. And if that's the game plan, was to hold the ball, carry the ball like that, dominate the time of possession in the game, and shorten the game to make it where you have a good chance to win, they did a lot of things right tonight.
So they are announcing the MVP right now, and they are going to give it up. I'll just go ahead and say it because we'll let him do it. Malachi Cruz, easy enough. If you couldn't quite hear what the PA announcer said, 13 receptions, 144 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions, and then on defense, 24 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 pass breakup. And that is your MVP.
And that's more than 25% of the play. And I say, it's okay, somebody could factor into 25% of the plays. When you have the ball, he factored into 25+% of the plays on both sides of the ball. What an effort, and great night for Malachi Cruz and for all of Izard County.
Well, Dorian Kraft is trying to get the Izard County head coach Jared Johnson right now. He's celebrating with his team, and as soon as she gets him, we will go down to her and get his thoughts on the night. It's always hard right now trying to get the coach and things like that just because of the celebration. But it looks like Dorian's making her way over to be with him, and she's got to bring him over. He's got a lot of emotion right now. He's over on that far hash mark, just kind of taking it all in, and. Dorian had to get out of the way because Coach Johnson was about to get the Gatorade bath, and I don't know who ran faster, Dorian or Coach Johnson. And now the entire team's going to go get Coach Johnson.
They're going to keep him still.
Yeah, there they go. They finally got him, and so now he'll come over and hang out with with Dorian.
Well, RJ, as he makes his way back to where Dorian is, or at least in the vicinity of where Dorian is, she escaped the Gatorade bath and got out of the way there. One of the things that Coach Johnson mentioned, he was asked earlier this week, have you had time to reflect on what this means? I mean, this is a first-year program, and it's making its way all the way to the state championship. Have you had a chance to reflect? And he said, I really haven't reflected yet. I haven't taken the time to do that. We're concentrating on one game at a time. There will be time later on to look back and to see what it's all about, and to think about this and think about whatever good memories we have. But in the meantime, we're going to take this one game at a time. Now he'll have time to reflect, and now he'll have time, I believe, to talk to Dorian.
Okay, Dorian, I believe she's got head coach.
Coach of the half, we talked about your offense and their response, but this game really came down to 2 defensive stands. What was the one thing that you saw from your defense when it was 28-26 that allowed you to get a turnover on downs?
Just unbelievable resilience. We've played with that all year long. Knew they were a little bigger physical team, and just when they needed to get it done, found a way to make it happen. And these boys, they've done that all year long.
You talked about the maturation of Wyatt Buchanan and his relationship with Malachi Cruz. What impressed you the most about their performance tonight?
The chemistry between not only Malachi and Wyatt, but our other receivers and our linemen and calling protection, and just, the things that we talk about him maturing on. And it showed tonight. There's a lot of big times that they come up and make the adjustments, check in and out of it, and get it done.
Earlier this week, you said that you had not had an opportunity to reflect on the season. When you think back on this year, what will you think of?
Right now, absolutely. I'll think of this moment and probably from now forever. I mean, what else can you say? We just won a state championship against an incredible football team that come out here with a good game plan and punched us in the mouth early, and the boys come back and get it done.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Joey?
Thank you, Dorian. Taking a picture there with that trophy. A number of those seniors out there as well. 13 seniors on this squad. Of course, Malachi Cruz is one of those seniors as well. And what a way to go out as you come away with a football championship.
Yeah, you do. And what a way to kick off the weekend of championships is you've got tonight's game, and then it all kicks off in the morning at noon. I say in the morning, but at noon tomorrow with the 2A championship. So we've got a whole weekend of football, and it's going to be a lot of fun here at War Memorial Stadium.
Lots of fun ahead of us. Hazen and Carlisle coming up. That's the next game, as RJ mentioned. That's at noon here tomorrow. So right here from War Memorial Stadium, we're going to sign off here. A fantastic night. 36-26 the final score. Izard County takes a state championship back home in its first year of play. What do you do for an encore? Well, we'll wait a few months to find that out. In the meantime, the Cougars celebrate tonight. 10-point victory, Izard County over Rector. Thanks for watching this. For Dorian Kraft and RJ Hawk, I'm Joey McWilliams. You've been watching the Centennial Bank State Football Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports. Good night. God bless you.